Welcome to another deadline stream, and this might be the most hectic one yet, and it feels like I'm saying this every single week, and we're just getting more news probably before the deadline, after the deadline, so hopefully we make the best informed decisions possible, but it's very difficult, and in some cases I think rolling the transfer might be the best course of action. I went from possibly taking a -8 hit to bench boost, to then thinking about the free hit, to then just thinking about a -4 or a -8, to now thinking about making no transfers at all. So this has been hectic. Even Dennis as my captain, I'm not too sure about that. That second game against Burnley could be postponed because Burnley obviously had that game called off against Leicester because they just couldn't field enough players. Arsenal versus Spurs is another one. I was looking to bring in Heung-min Son before he got injured. Region, he's also got some fitness doubts. And also, he's another one that could only have one game week as opposed to a double game week. So this is all hectic. In the end, a lot of us might even end up captaining Bowen or Jota or someone else like Trent. But let's wait and see. I might even change my captaincy, even my overall transfer plans throughout this stream whilst answering your questions. Game Week 21 was pretty decent as I talked about in my last few videos, but let's see what Game Week 22 has in store for us. It just seems absolutely crazy right now. Thank you to everyone who's decided to tune in, and we'll try to get through all of your comments. So welcome to Sing. Thank you very much for tuning in. Nicholas asked the best Son replacement. Probably like for like, it has to be Bruno Fernandes because of the double game week, but I'm not that convinced by Bruno. We haven't really seen enough from him to really advocate for going for the Portuguese midfielder. I'd rather take a hit and go for Ronaldo if I'm being honest, but at the same time, maybe getting Bruno in isn't too bad and he can be a nice placeholder for Salah in a few weeks' time. I'll try and get through these as well. So Nabil says, hey Dylan, any advice on my team? Sanchez, Trent, Janssen, Cancelo, Region, Jota, Vice, Bowen captain, Saka, Watkins, Dennis, Antonio Backman, Ramsey, Son, Barnes, or James shall I say, have 1 free transfer and 2 free hits. What should I do? To be honest, looking at what everything's happening right now, I'd probably just keep your team, possibly even roll. I don't like players like Janssen, but he does have a double game week, so it doesn't really make sense to get rid of him now with everything that's going on. But in normal circumstances, I would say get rid of the Brentford players. But right now, I'd probably keep. And looking at the rest, I mean, Saka might end up missing the game anyway, even if Arsenal do play. He did pick up a little injury against Liverpool. But yeah, looking at that, I probably would just look to possibly move Son or James on. You could do Son to Bruno, or if not, James to Cucurella or someone else of that ilk who might have a double game week this week. I mean, my ideal kind of defender right now, around 5 million, is Cash or Digne, but I want to see how they play first, and it's not really a good time to bring them in ahead of their game against United. So yeah, that's what I would recommend for your team. And yeah, as for Lipuk, I want to read your comment, the first one, but unfortunately the poll is getting in the way. So put your team up again, and I will try to answer that as well. Welcome to Lage or Lake. Hopefully I got that right. Just tell me how to pronounce it. I don't want to keep getting it wrong, but thank you very much for tuning in. Nahian as well. Hey Dylan, thoughts on Ronaldo captain? If I had him, I'd captain him. And the Ranić seemed quite positive that he's going to make the game. And I'm still thinking of ways to bring in Ronaldo, and he would definitely be my captain if I had him. I'm no longer bringing in Maddison for Son. Who can I replace James with? Bless from Jamaica. Thank you, Steve. Big up Jamaica. I would probably, in terms of replacing James, I would look to Cucurella, maybe even a Villa defender, but would you bring them in right now? Probably not. You'd want to do that ahead of Game Week 23. Maybe go for a Wolves defender like Cody. I know that they don't have a double game week, but to be honest, they look like a really good defence. Only 14 goals conceded this season. So yeah. Yeah, League. To be honest, a lot of us are feeling like that as well. You don't know what to do. Anything you do could end up backfiring ultimately. Welcome Manish. Should I get Bowen and Rice? Bowen, yes. Rice, no. Even if you don't have Bowen now and he only has a single game week, should I say, I'd still go for Bowen. But Rice, I definitely wouldn't think about him in FPL. Thank you, Lag, or hopefully I'll keep getting it right. I'll call you Dale. But happy deadline stream to you. Happy deadline stream to you as well. Hopefully a happy deadline and actual Game Week 22. Let's see. So thank you to everyone who's sending in these comments. I'll try to whiz through these as well. Welcome to Flying Dutchman as well. Welcome Lipuk as well. Thank you very much for that reminder. Welcome Dian. Owned by him says, bro, I literally played an early free hit. So annoyed. Double game week is so trash. That's the thing though, and I was kind of cautious about this when I was thinking about playing my bench boost. I was thinking, you know what, a postponement or two could easily throw those plans in the mud, an injury to Son or something else. And, you know, they ended up all happening, unfortunately. And, yeah, this double game week, it went from quite promising. It could have been up to 10 or 12 teams having a double game week, or 10, 12 teams, maybe 8. I'm not sure of the exact number, but Arsenal, Everton, Liverpool, they all could have had one as well. In the end, we're just getting nothing. So, yeah, it's not looking too good. Is Sterling a good pick? I believe he is. And if you're not really too keen on Bruno and you want a like-for-like premium midfielder, Sterling or De Bruyne is probably the way to go. Sterling just won the Player of the Month. even though that might be a bit contentious, but he was very good last month and he's been showing some great form recently, so I think he is a good pick, but he is facing Chelsea. Hello, are you doing full team reviews? Well, from time to time, obviously I'm just going to try to whiz through as many questions as possible, to be honest, but we tend to read through teams anyway, like we did early in the stream. Hello Dylan, best on replacement? Probably Bruno Fernandes or a City midfielder. If you want someone around that price, it would have been Maddison, really, but because he doesn't have a double game week anymore and the fixtures after are pretty poor and Leicester are missing so many players regardless, I just wouldn't go for Maddison right now. Should I get Bowen, Mount and Sterling? Bowen definitely. Mount only for Game Week 22 and Sterling might be a good long-term placeholder for Salah. Ultimately, you want to be using that Sterling money to get Salah back in. I think the Burnley-Watford game will be postponed. Judging by what's been happening, I think so, but we'll wait and see. Things can change very quickly, but that game is, 3 days after? So we'll just have to wait and see, but I have a feeling that it will be, as things stand. Welcome, Aranya. Any info on Sterling? I think he's a good like-for-like replacement for Salah or Son. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all. And he won the Player of the Month. What about CR7? He should be fine to play the games. And yeah, Ranić seemed quite positive. If I had him, I'd definitely be captaining him, to be honest. Dennis or King? I still prefer Dennis, but I'm a bit put off Watford right now because they could have their game against Burnley postponed. Captain Rashford or Mount? I'd probably go for Mount, actually, out of those two. Start Foster ahead of Ramsdale? Probably, because he has the double game week, and Ramsdale might not even have a game in Game Week 22 because the North London derby could be postponed, so I would probably go for Foster. I don't trust Watford defensively though. Play Brentford keeper or Ramsdale? I'd probably go for the Brentford goalkeeper because of the double. Hi Dylan, hope you're doing well. Who's the best out of Sanchez or Davis? Spurs defender, cheers mate. Thank you very much, Abdelayla. Yeah, I would probably go for Davis out of those two. I'm not a big fan of either. Emerson or Reguilon would be my first preferences, especially Reguilon. But yeah, once again with Spurs, they could have that game postponed against Arsenal, so bear that in mind. But out of those two, I'd probably go for Davis. Soufal or Watkins? This week, I'd probably say Soufal. But once again, I'm not a big fan of West Ham defence. I do like Watkins long term, so I wouldn't be looking to sell him. Does CR7 start against Villa? I think he does, yeah. Start Soufal, yeah, I just answered that. Son out for Sterling, I think that's a good move. But then again, you're probably looking to bring in Salah if you don't have him now in Game Week 24 for Sterling, but he could do well in that time frame. Welcome, Genius Gamer, I'm well. How about you? Hopefully you're doing well as well. Watkins, DCL or Antonio for Ronaldo? I'm in a similar situation. And out of those three, if you're looking at this week purely, Nikolai, then you would say Watkins, but I think Watkins might arguably be the best long term, especially with the fixtures and all the rescheduled ones or the unscheduled fixtures yet to take place. I'd be looking at DCL or Antonio, but then you might be thinking, well, why do I get rid of DCL ahead of a game against Norwich? And that's fair enough. You could say the same about Antonio, though, facing Leeds. So you could just hold and forget about Ronaldo. That's what I might end up doing myself. But yeah, as you can see through the poll, most people are saying sell Salah and take a hit for CR7. I could actually end up doing that. The problem is I'm not a big fan of the midfielders, really, that you can replace these players with. Mount or Pulisic? I'd go for Mount. But once again, with Chelsea players, they're going to blank in 24, 25 and possibly Game Week 27. So I'm not a big fan of those Chelsea assets, bringing them in at least. Ronaldo for Calvert-Lewin or Antonio? That's really tough. It's a 50-50 one. I've been thinking about it myself. I think Antonio plays in the better team, but Calvert-Lewin is going to be more of the focal point. Who knows, really? It's a 50-50 one. Antonio's been better all season, but Calvert-Lewin has been injured, so it's hard to judge them. And honestly, I don't know, I have a gut feeling that Calvert-Lewin might be slightly better, but it's 50-50. In my team selection video, I was leaning more towards selling Calvert-Lewin instead. Start Soufal, Gundogan or Watkins? It's a good question. I'd probably go for Soufal, but all three of them aren't too bad. The thing with Gundogan is I probably don't expect him to start, so he might be at the lower end of the pecking order. Welcome, Cohen. Who to replace Son for? It's tough, you know, we had quite a few options before and now it doesn't really look like it. Probably Bruno Fernandes or a City midfielder because I'm looking at the rest. You might look at Rafinha, maybe at a cheaper price. He might have a double in Game Week 23 or Coutinho at 7 million. But we're really just, not down to many options. You've got maybe a Brighton midfielder like Trossard or McAllister. You've got Mason Mount, but I'm just not too keen on any of them. Is it a good idea to captain, if I captain King? I think it is a good idea. The problem is that game, that second one against Burnley, might be postponed. And I'm not a huge fan of King anyway, if I'm being honest, but it's not a bad idea, I think. Hello, Bruno or King captain? If I had both, I'd be tempted to go for Bruno Wanja, but that's really tough. Really, really tough. Sell Bernardo Silva for who? If anything, I might even keep him this week, considering everything that's happening. Thoughts on Elise? There's no good cheap midfielder with double game week. Yeah, I mean, I like Elise, but the problem is just the minutes. He hasn't really been starting too much, but he's been looking so good. Whenever he even gets a cameo or whatever, he just makes such an impact for Palace. But I wouldn't be bringing him in right now. I just keep an eye on him, and if he can nail down a spot, then you could go for someone like him or Lanzini potentially, around 5.4 to 5.8 million. Need an 8 million midfielder? Well, if you want someone for Game Week 22 specifically, you have to look at Mason Mount, but I wouldn't want to bring him in because of those free blanks soon. And then you're looking at Trossard or McAllister, but Brighton, do you really trust them? I don't, if I'm being honest, offensively anyway. And then you're looking at possibly, I mean, Bowen and Jota are kind of just no-brainers. If you don't have them, I'd go for them, even if they don't have a double. Other than that, it gets really tricky, if I'm being honest. Maybe Rafinha, but he is being called up to Brazil, and they have a game, I think, on the 27th of January, and also in the beginning of February. So there's so many different things to think about. I think Coutinho or Rafinha could be really good, but once again, we'll just have to wait and see. Captain Bruno or Dennis? I mean, normally I'd say Dennis, but because of those doubts about the second game, it'd be 50-50. I'd still probably go for Dennis, but I do like Bruno as well. And just for the record, I mean, I prefer Bruno over King as a captain, but not Bruno over Dennis. I think Dennis is significantly better, but you never know. 1 second, just sorting out the spammers. Good evening, Mark, or good afternoon, Mark. Thank you very much for tuning in. Burnley game going to get cancelled. Why are you captaining Dennis? To be honest, I might change it, and nothing is settled right now, but I think he can still do really well in that single game week, but I'm just not a big fan of anyone I have, really. Lucas Moura, once again, that North London derby could be postponed, and I'm not a huge fan of Lucas anyway. I think on a free hit in Game Week 22, he was pretty appealing maybe, but I was never really a huge fan of him. Captain Trent or Dennis? Maybe I'd say Dennis, but once again, you know, it could be a case of both of them having a single game week. Hey Dylan, would you take a hit and sell Son and James for Bruno and Cucurella? I think so, Diego, yeah. I'm not a huge fan of Bruno this season, but I think I would, yeah. Kane, Ronaldo, Dennis, who to captain? Ronaldo. I'd probably go for Ronaldo. Maybe before, I would have considered Kane a little bit more, but I think Arsenal might actually have the game requested to be postponed against Spurs, so I think Ronaldo's the safe bet. Should I play Gundogan and save a transfer or bring in a mid for Son? I'd probably bring in a midfielder for Son. You don't have too many options, but probably the same ones we discussed before. Maybe Bruno Fernandes. And if not, Rafinha. Coutinho would be good maybe in Game Week 23, but once again, he's more of a wait and see. Thank you, Lipuk, for the super chat. Much appreciated. Pick an 11. Foster, Trent, Cancelo, Reguilon, Jota, Bowen, Mount, Captain, Foden, King, Antonio Watkins, Ramsdale, Gallagher, Keane, Tomiyasu. 6.7 million in the bank. That's crazy, but that's the environment we live in right now in FPL. That's tough. I think in terms of your squad, I agree with what you've done. I'd probably play Foster instead of Ramsdale. Looking at the rest, yeah, I'd maybe think about playing Gallagher or Keane. Tomiyasu I don't expect to feature anyway, and also that game could be called off. So if we're thinking about possible alterations to your squad, that'd be a bit tough actually. But then again, would I really bench Cancelo for Keane? Probably not, even if he's facing Norwich. So I'd keep the defence as it is. I think maybe Foden possibly benched for Gallagher or Keane, but honestly, I think I'd probably go with what you did there. I think you've got the right starting 11. In terms of your captain, yeah, I think you might have gone for the right one too. Yeah, from those you have, I'd probably captain Mount, Bowen or Jota, if I'm being honest, yeah. So I think your lineup actually, Lipuk, I agree with. So if you make any further transfers, that's where a few changes could actually be made. Hey Dylan, good day mate. Thank you, Ocon, good day to you as well. What players are a must-have for this game week? It's hard to say because so many different players and clubs, you know, they end up going from a double game week to a single and vice versa. Must-have, that's tough. I mean, I say this and I don't have him. Ronaldo's the closest to a must-have, I think. He still has some injury concerns. He might miss out in the first game, at least be on the bench. But yeah, Ronaldo's the closest to it, I think. Yeah. Sell Salah for Bruno and -4 for Livramento. Any defender? I'd probably say Cucurella this week, and then next week you can start looking at Cash, Cody, or maybe Digne. Yeah, I think those would be the ones I'd look at. Foster or Ramsdale in goal? I'd go for Foster because of the double. I'm not a big fan of Watford though, and I just have a feeling the Arsenal game could be postponed. Yeah, better captain. Yeah, CR7, mate. For me, CR7 is the best captaincy this week, just to make that clear. I'm starting Rudiger. Fair enough. I think he could do alright actually. Yeah, Best to hold on to Maddison when you already brought him in yesterday evening. Looks like he might have a double or even a triple game week next week. Yeah, if I brought in Maddison, I'd probably just keep him at this point. He can still do well against Tottenham. I'd probably just keep him, yeah. And yeah, asking for a friend. I've heard that so many times this week for various reasons. Should I sub Cancelo and start Rudiger? Yeah, I'd start Rudiger instead because of the double. Yeah, I would. Sell James for who? Once again, Cucurella, Cody, another Wolves defender. You could look at a Villa defender as well. Those would be the main ones. Normally I put Reguilon at the very top, but if he doesn't have a double this week, I'm not too sure if it's worth it. Bowen or Maddison? I prefer Bowen, so I'd go for him. Is CR7 a doubt? He still is. He still is a doubt, but to be honest with CR7, Ranić was quite positive about him, and I think he will play both games, but let's wait and see. I could be wrong. Dennis or King for captain? I'd go for Dennis. I prefer him. Thank you, Rania, for becoming a member for 3 months. Much appreciated. Laka to CR7 for no hits, and play Bernardo or Laka to Cavani and Bernardo to Bruno for a -4 hit, and double up on United attacking assets. Even if it's CR7 and Bruno, I'm not a big fan of doubling up on their attack, but I do Laka to CR7, yeah. And play Bernardo or Laka to Cavani. Yeah, I'd probably just do the first option. Laka to CR7 and play Bernardo. I think that's your best bet. I'm not a huge fan of Cavani, and Bruno's decent, but I'd probably go for the first option, Aranya. And thank you very much once again. Bench Soufal or Cody? Oof, that's a tough question. I actually prefer Cody. I think Wolves are a better defence than West Ham. And yeah, I think the fixture, quite similar, I guess. Southampton are a bit of a better team than Leeds, you could say. But offensively, maybe it's quite even between the two. But I'd probably go for Cody. Worth taking a hit from Son to Fernandes. Yeah, it is worth it, I think, with the double game week. But yeah, ultimately, you're probably going to be looking for a way back to Salah. So I don't think you need to take the hit. And you can always play Foden against Chelsea. Captain Dennis, I'm not too confident about it now as I was before. And that's why I have been thinking about getting Ronaldo in for a hit. Just to kind of cover that captaincy option already. Antonio to Ronaldo for a hit. I think it's worth it. Antonio is facing Leeds, so he could do very well. But I think it's worth the hit. Either way, you might take another hit in a few weeks' time to get Salah back in. So this is all crazy. Start Bernardo or Laporte? I'd probably go for Bernardo, but if it was Bernardo or Cancelo, that's where I would go for Cancelo. Any replacement for Son? The same as before, mate. We're looking at Sterling or De Bruyne or Bruno Fernandes. If you want to target the double, then it has to be Bruno. Otherwise, you're looking at Rafinha or maybe Coutinho in Game Week 23, because the rest, they maybe look appealing for Game Week 22, like Mount, but after that, not really so much. Hi, mate. Foden replacement? I'd probably just keep Foden at this point. I don't think it's worth selling him. I think he will be fine. And yeah. Are you not using free hit? No, I'm not using it. I was considering it at one point, but nothing more than that. And I definitely am really put off it now with all the postponements and all the concerns flying around, because I'd want to get Kane, possibly Reguilon, but if their game against Arsenal's called off, then the free hit might be gone to waste immediately. Hey Dylan, what are your thoughts on who do I change? I didn't see your team, I can't lie, so I can't give an opinion there, but let me know, Deadly, what your team is and I'll get back to you. Start, yeah, I just said that. Let's go back. McAllister or Trossard? In recent weeks, I think McAllister has looked better, but over the season, Trossard has been the superior asset. I'm not a huge fan of either, to be honest, and if there was a neither option, I'd probably go for that. But if I had to pick one, I'd still go for Trossard. Thoughts on Captain Trent? It's not too bad now, all of a sudden, and yeah, it's not a bad option. Obviously, if you don't have Ronaldo, I'd be looking at someone like Trent potentially. Ronaldo, Dennis Watkins, or Harry, Dennis Antonio? I'd probably go for Ronaldo, Dennis Watkins. I think that's the best one, Manda. Take out Salah, James, Laka, and who? 4. Got one transfer, don't mind taking a hit. If you don't have Ronaldo, Ismail, I'd look to get Ronaldo in for Laka then. And you can do James to, let's say, Cucurella. And then Salah to Bruno. You could do something like that, potentially. Will Foden play? Yeah, I believe so, Emil. He should be back regardless. So whether he starts or not, that's a different question. But he should definitely be available. Start Laporte or Cucurella? Cucurella for sure, with the double game in mind. Dennis or Ronaldo for the captaincy? I'd go for Ronaldo once again. Any questions about Ronaldo captain or whoever, it's Ronaldo for me. And I think he will start both games. Start Edison or Foster? I'd go... I mean, it sounds a bit weird, but I'd probably go for Foster because of the double, but I'm not expecting much from Foster, really. But yeah, I'd probably go for him. Any replacement for Son? Already answered that, mate. Opinions on any Southampton players? Brozier's a pretty nice budget enabler, but I wouldn't be bringing in any Southampton players right now, but Brozier's probably the best one, yeah. Bruno's a fine enough captain if you can't get to Ronaldo. It's not too bad, but I still prefer Ronaldo. If this was last season's Bruno that we were talking about, then I think definitely he's more than good enough. But yeah, he's still fine, I think. Please tell me a good 7.2 million midfielder, probably Rafinha or Coutinho, but none of them have a double this week. Captain Mount or Rashford, I go for Mount. Mohamed, am I mad for putting the armband on Bruno? Probably not. I think he's only got one attack and return since game week 10, but that's the kind of week we're in at the moment. And if you can't get to Ronaldo, then Bruno might be a nice alternative. Bruno or Dennis or Lucas captain? It'd have to be between Dennis or Bruno for me, and I'd probably go for Dennis, but just bear in mind, Bruno is more likely to have a double than Dennis because of all the things that are going on. DCL to Dennis for a hit? I probably wouldn't, because Dennis might end up having just one game anyway, so I'd probably just keep it as it is. Bruno or Ronaldo? Who to captain? Ronaldo for me. Thoughts on bringing in DCL? If I didn't have DCL, I'd probably not look to bring him in, so I'd look to bring in Ronaldo instead and take hits elsewhere. But if you have him, then you could just keep him. He is facing Norwich. But yeah, I think this is where he could start to come good. And obviously, he's only had one game back. He's going to improve. But yeah, he's a good option. But at the same time, if you don't have Ronaldo already and you can get to him, I'd go for Ronaldo instead. Sanchez or Ramsdale? Definitely Sanchez this week. No doubt about it. Son for Bruno? I think that's a nice alternative. Nice swap there. Will Walker play? I mean, at this point, who knows? Because City have more COVID cases. And that's why I'm thinking of making a transfer at least. Just to have that squad depth in case Foden or Cancelo miss out. And I'm more concerned about Cancelo, if anything. Foden's just coming back from injury, or should I say from COVID. Rudiger or Alonso? Honestly, I wouldn't bring in either. If it's for a free hit, then fair enough, I would get one in. But would you really want to bring in a Chelsea player right now when they have 3 blanks in the next 4 or 5 game weeks? And also pretty poor fixtures, in between that. From game week 27 onwards, that's when I look to bring them in. But is Rashford okay for this game week? To be honest, I'd honestly avoid him. He's looking really poor at the moment. I'd honestly avoid him. I'd go for Ronaldo or Bruno instead. Ronaldo injury, there is a chance he misses out, but Ranić seemed quite positive about it, so I think he will start both games, and that's why I'd captain him. Start Soufal or Cancelo? I'd probably go for... That's tough, actually. I'd still go for Cancelo, though. Thank you, Andy, for the super chat. Much appreciated. Captain Bowen, Jota, or Trent? I'd actually go for Bowen. Yeah, I'd probably go for Bowen, if not Jota, and I'd favour the attackers. But I think all of them are great options. Bowen's got the best form, but at the same time, yeah, it's just that Leeds fixture that really entices me. I think I'd go for Bowen. Maddison or Moura? Before the cancellation, I would have said Maddison. But then again, Moura might have his game postponed. Honestly, I still prefer Maddison. I just think he's the better option, so I'd go for him. Is De Bruyne a good shout? I believe he is. But at the same time, would I be bringing him in? Probably not. I'd rather take hits to get Ronaldo in, if not just keep Salah indefinitely. And thank you, by the way, to everyone who's tuned in. Over 500 of you have voted, so much appreciated. If you haven't already, smash the like button and subscribe if you're new around here. It's much appreciated. And I'll try to get through as many questions as possible, as always. And yeah, still so much to decide. Who would have thought that I would have 3 red flags, a double game week on my hands, and I might even just roll the transfer because of all the uncertainty flying around. It's absolutely crazy what's happening right now. Gordon or Gray? That's tough. I mean, I still like Gray as an option potentially, but I'm not a huge fan of him. Maybe just Gordon as an enabler, but just don't expect him to score every week. He only just scored his first set of goals in the Premier League the other week, so yeah, don't expect that every single time, but he's been looking very good recently. Captain and De Gea, yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of people do that, but it makes sense, to be honest. If you look at my team, for example, it might actually make sense to captain De Gea instead, or even Marcus Alonso over Dennis, so it's absolutely crazy. Hope CR7 does not start. To be honest, I think he will, but if you don't have him, you obviously would want that to happen. Start 8 Nuri over Cancelo. I can see why you think that, but I'd still probably go for Cancelo, despite the fixture. But if you have a feeling about it, go for it. Start Dawson or Cancelo, I'd go for Cancelo. Take a -8 to get Ronaldo in. I'm thinking of something similar, simply ice cream. What a name. Yeah, I think it's worth it this week. Just bear in mind, you might take another -4 or a -8 to get Salah back in and get rid of Ronaldo. Gray to ESR for a -4. I'm guessing it's the other way around, so getting rid of Smith Rowe to Gray. I definitely wouldn't be bringing in Smith Rowe right now. I can see why do the other way around, and I think that's a good hit, to be honest, if you're getting Gray in. But at the same time, Gray isn't a fantastic option. Start Moura or Bernardo. I'd just go for Moura because of the double, if they do end up having a double. But yes, not really, not a big fan of Moura. What about Trossard? Good option for Game Week 22, but Brighton aren't really too I don't know. The thing with Brighton, I'm not a big fan of them offensively. And Trossard, I think he's only hauled in 4 or 5 games this season out of 21 or something like that. So, yeah, it's not really looking too good for him. CR7 or Kane? I'd probably go for CR7 because of the fixtures in general. And also, Kane has no Son. And another factor on top of that is that the North London derby could be postponed. So, I'd go for Ronaldo despite the injury concern. Best captain for this week? I'd probably say Ronaldo, especially with everything that's going on. Are you looking to hold Salah? Potentially, but it's not settled yet. Kepa top scoring goalkeeper this week? Trust. That's possible. That's highly possible, to be honest. One midfielder in. Which would you prefer, Mount, Moore or Maddison? That's tough. Honestly, if I'm kind of looking, who do I think is the best asset maybe long term with everything considered? Probably Maddison. But for Gameweek 22 specifically, I'd probably say Mason Mount. He would be my favourite. Do you think Foster will play both games? That's tough. I think he will come back in as the number one, but I could be wrong. You know, Backman has had a few decent performances like against Spurs recently, so that's not really set in stone, but I think he will play both games, and he is back now. Start Bernardo, Gray or Watkins? Probably Gray because of the fixture. What about Wan-Bissaka? I wouldn't be bringing him in, but I mean, he's not a bad one for the double game week. If you already have De Gea, definitely don't double up on United defence, whatever you do. Watford versus Burnley will be called off. Yeah, I mean, that's what I think as well. And once again, that's why I'm a bit leaning towards potentially taking hits for Ronaldo if I end up making transfers, but nothing certain. Kane or King for captain? I'd probably go for Kane out of those two, but once again, there's so much uncertainty flying around. You know, if both of them end up having a double, then literally anything can happen. So who knows what's going to happen. Kane or DCL on a free hit? I'd go for Kane still, but yeah, it could just be both of them having a single game week and DCL is the better fixture. Should I start Backman or Ramsdale? I'd probably go for Backman just in case, but yeah. Which two would you sell between Reguilon, James, Son, Watkins, Antonio? Probably Son and James, yeah. I'd sell both of them. I mean, you might as well just sell the ones that aren't available and keep the ones that are there. Malpai, Dennis or King for the captaincy? Dennis. I'd still go for Dennis out of those three. Just bear in mind, it could be a single game week for Watford. What do you think of Varane? Sure start and probably get a clean sheet at least. That's the thing though. I don't trust United that much to really go for a defender. I went for De Gea because of bonus points and saves. You make a good point. Varane could be a nice double game week option, but I still probably would prefer a Wolves defender, Cash or Digne or Cucurella. Should I start Kane, Ronaldo and King? Yeah, I'd probably start all three of them, regardless of what's happening. Dalot not playing. He might get one start out of this double game week, but just don't expect him to start both. It would be very surprising if he does. Should I bring in Bowen or Jota instead of Maddison? I like both of them. Bowen and Jota, you can't go wrong with either. I'd probably go for Bowen if you had to pick one. Sell Salah and buy Jota or Bruno? I prefer Jota, so I'd go for him. Despite the double game week for Bruno, I'd probably do that. What you could do is maybe just get Bruno in first, bring in Jota for someone else in the week after, and then bring Salah back in Game Week 24 for Bruno. Mora or Trossard for Gray, or shouldn't I do it? I would just keep Gray, honestly. At this point, I'd probably keep him. King, Antonio or Watkins to Ronaldo? Probably Antonio. It sounds a bit weird, but I like Watkins the most long term. King still has the possibility of a double game week. But if you're not too sure about that and you think that Watford game against Burnley will be postponed, then maybe just keep Antonio and sell King instead. Gaeta yellow flag to whom for a -4? Maybe Sanchez. He could be a nice double game week player and also just a nice keeper to have in general. The other keepers I like are Jose Sarr. I think he's the best regardless of double game weeks or not. Ramsdale's really good, but I wouldn't be bringing him in right now. So it has to be Jose Sarr or Sanchez, really. Score predictions. I'll probably do that later on in the stream and go through the fixtures. Bruno or Ronaldo? Ronaldo. If I could pick one, definitely Ronaldo. Should I bring in Greenwood? He could be a nice differential, but I'm probably not going to go for any other United midfielder other than Bruno Fernandes potentially. And Ronaldo is my ideal coverage there. Transferring out King and bringing in Ronaldo. Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think that's... look, if King ends up having a double game week, he could do very well this week, but yeah, I think it makes sense either way, and you shouldn't be burned too much by that move. Captain Bowen or King? I mean, if I didn't have so many doubts about the second game, I would definitely go for King, but right now, I'd be 50-50 on it. And if it is a single game week that they both end up having, then Bowen's the clear winner. Hey Dylan, already did Son to Maddison yesterday, and now Ronaldo's past fit. Should I do Salah to some cheap midfielder and Pukki to Ronaldo? Or just do Salah to Bruno for a -4 only? It's a good question. I'm in a similar predicament. If possible, I would go for Ronaldo in. I'm not a big fan of getting a cheap midfielder in, but maybe get a Gordon or someone else. But yeah, it's not ideal. You want to have as much squad depth as possible. If you're bringing in a cheap midfielder who's going to be pure bench fodder, it's not really ideal with everything that's happening. ESR to Gray or Coutinho? I mean, this week I would rather go for Gray, but I have a feeling that Coutinho would be the better option long term than Gray. Bench Antonio, Rafinha or Watkins? I would probably bench Watkins. Rafinha has a good record against West Ham. Cucurella or Lamptey? I'd go for Cucurella because he's just more nailed, and Lamptey is more of an injury concern in general. Bruno or Jota for Son? I prefer Jota, so I'd still go for him. Will ESR play against Tottenham? I'm not sure, to be honest. I think he has an injury. With Odegaard, he's the one who has COVID, and he's definitely missing out. But the game against Tottenham might not even go ahead. That's the problem I have with that match. But yeah, I think if Smith Rowe is available, then he definitely will start. But that's the problem. We just don't know if he's going to be available or not. Is Antonio to Ronaldo a good option? I think so. I think it is a good option. I think Antonio could do very well against Leeds, but at the same time, Ronaldo has a double and should outscore him. Captain Bowen or Bruno? I possibly go for Bruno because of the double. Otherwise, it would be Bowen all day. Dennis, safe captain. He was a safe captain until the doubts about Burnley came into the mix, and that game might be called off against Watford, so he's not a safe captain in my opinion. Lucas to Odegaard or Lamptey for Livramento? These questions are tough. I go for Lamptey to Livramento. Yeah, I'd do that. Why is Saka flagged? He picked up an injury yesterday against Liverpool. We'll wait and see how severe the damage is. And if he is out, that would definitely exacerbate and accelerate the possibility of Arsenal versus Spurs being postponed, because Arsenal are struggling to have 13 players available. First team players anyway. Livramento replacements, I think Cucurella, Cash, Digne or Cody would be my ideal ones. Normally I'd also throw Reguilon into the mix, but Spurs might not have a double, and also the fixtures aren't that great for Spurs anyway. Arnold or Dennis for captain? I'd still go for Dennis just in the hopes that Dennis does get a double game week still. But we'll wait and see. Alright, so how's it, Dylan? Antonio out for King for a -4? I probably wouldn't go for there, mate, because King might not end up having a double game week, and the hit would then possibly be futile. Sterling versus Foden? I still prefer Foden, I guess, but maybe that's being a bit too narrow-minded. Sterling is definitely one to consider, and he might be a nice placeholder for you for Mohamed Salah. Jota or McAllister? Jota all day long. Regardless of the double game week, I'd go for Jota. Should I still keep Maddison? I'd probably keep him. He could do well in game week 23 also. Might even have a double game week, who knows at this point. So I'd probably keep Maddison. Because if, let's say, for example, you bring him in, then you get rid of him, and then he has a double next week, you'd probably want to get him back in. So I'd probably keep him. Watkins to Ronaldo, a -4 hit for some replacement. Yep, that looks good. Just bear in mind that Watkins is a good option long term. But yeah, that's still fine. Hit for Son. Maybe Bruno Fernandes, a City midfielder. Or if not, go for a Coutinho who could have a double in game week 23. Or Rafinha. Antonio to Ronaldo for a hit. Yep, I think that's fine. Just bear in mind that Antonio is still a decent option. But sometimes he's a bit frustrating because West Ham can score 3 or 4 goals and he's not really involved because he drops quite deep and gives space to the wingers and the attacking midfielder to go past him. If you had to bring in one player in between Moura and Maddison, who would it be? Well, it would normally be Maddison, and I think he's a better option than Moura, just in general, without thinking about fixtures and postponements and all of that. But because of the circumstances, you might have to lean a bit more towards Moura, but I prefer Maddison. Which games were postponed? Only one game, so Burnley versus Leicester, but in turn, that also raises questions about Burnley versus Watford going ahead, and also Arsenal against Tottenham. That was already put in doubt from yesterday when Arsenal got Xhaka sent off, when Saka got injured, and also Cedric. So Arsenal really are just struggling to have 13 players available. So those are the games that are likely to be postponed, and then you're looking at the game that's already been postponed there. Best Foden and Son replacements? I'd keep Foden, and for Son, I would look to maybe Bruno Fernandes, a City midfielder, or Rafinha or Coutinho. Best 3 forwards for the game week? I mean, it was Dennis, Ronaldo and Kane. Now it could be anyone. It could be Antonio, DCL, who knows, but I'd probably stick to those 3. Sontamora, have Gray, Bowen, Jota, Silva. Yeah, I think that's fine. Just bear in mind that Spurs might not have a double game week in the end. Tony or King, I still prefer King, so I'd go for him. Sell Bernardo Silva for who? Probably Jota or Bowen if you don't have them already. If you do have them, then that's where you look at maybe a Coutinho or a Rafinha. But if anything, wait until next week. And I think there's no problem with holding and rolling the transfer this week. Is Dennis even starting? He's available. He should be fine to start the games. The problem is, will Watford versus Burnley go ahead? Let's wait and see. Yeah, best on replacement. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people asking that same question. It's just really Bruno Fernandes if you want a like for like who has a double. Otherwise, you're looking at KDB or Sterling. And then if you want maybe a cheaper midfielder, Rafinha or Coutinho who could have doubles in Game Week 23 onwards. Maddison could still have a double in Game Week 23, but everything is up in the air at the moment. Is Dennis still a buy for Tony? I mean, the thing is, Tony does have a double game week, but I do prefer Dennis in general. So he is still a buy, but you could maybe just hold off and get Dennis in next week potentially. But Dennis is facing Norwich in Game Week 23. Even if he doesn't have a double in 22, the fixtures are just good for Dennis. He's going to be fit and available. I'd still go for him over Tony. King or Dennis? Dennis. Next best captaincy after Dennis and Ronaldo. Kane, if he does have a double. Will he have one? Who knows at this point, but maybe Kane. He's got a great record against Arsenal and Leicester. Should I bring in Cucurella and Dennis for James and Watkins for a hit? I think that's a good hit. Just bear in mind that with Dennis, he might not have a double, and Watkins, you could just keep him in general. But James to Cucurella looks like a good move. I'd definitely do that, and I'm looking to do something similar myself. Would you play Edouard or Maddison? I'd probably still go for Maddison, but Edouard's not bad. Lamptey with double game week or Cancelo? Lamptey. I'd go for the double game week in that case. Best Dennis replacement. I wouldn't look to sell Dennis. If you're on a free hit and you're, looking to get someone else, then fair enough. But I would probably just keep Dennis. I wouldn't sell him in any case. Best free hit defender. Probably Alonso, Cucurella, and I'd still go for Trent. I'd honestly still go for him. Best midfielder for 6.1 million or lower. That's a good question. I'm not a big fan of most of them, if I'm being honest. Yeah, I'd have to think about that one. I mean, Gallagher's normally the one I like, but he is a bit of a concern. He should be back. But then again, the fixtures aren't that great. You're looking at maybe Olise or Lanzini. They could be all right if you're looking for differentials. But yeah, maybe possibly Demarai Gray with the fixtures. Yeah, we're kind of not... We don't have too many options there. Get Fernandes for Son or roll free transfer already have Ronaldo. It depends. If you have a starting 11 that you're happy with, and if just in case someone misses out through injury or whatever, you have someone on the bench to cover, then roll the transfer. Otherwise, I think that's a good move. And even if Bruno blanks, he can get 3-4 points potentially. Yeah, Martin already answered that question, mate. Why are they selling Dennis? Because the Burnley versus Watford game could be postponed. I wouldn't sell him anyway because against Newcastle he could do very well. But yeah, Alonso or Lindelof? Alonso, but would I bring him in? Probably not, because he has blanks in 24, 25 and 27 as things stand. Ronaldo will play. It's not guaranteed, but Ranić was quite positive, so I think he will. Thank you very much to Con for the super chat, or Christopher. Hopefully I got that right. Start Foden or Lamptey over him for a -4. I don't think you need to take a hit to start Lamptey over Foden, but you're getting a double game week player if the doubles do stand, which they should for Brighton anyway. And I think that's fine. So basically, I think the hit is fine for Lamptey, but at the same time, I'd be comfortable starting Foden. He should be available. And just bear in mind with Lamptey, there's always the risk of him being benched for one of the games, and that's not what you want at all. Bruno or Mount? Because of the blanks for Chelsea, I'd go for Bruno, but otherwise, it's definitely Mount all day long. Welcome, Toby. Hey, mate, who are you taking out for Ronaldo? I might not even take out anyone for Ronaldo. That's the problem. But if I were to take someone out, it would be either DCL or Antonio. And I'm not a big fan of, doing either at the moment. It's not really a great time to do that. Dennis replacement, free hit. I'd still get Dennis in, honestly. But if you were looking for someone else, that's where it gets a bit interesting. Maybe you could just go for a cheaper striker and go for 5 in midfield. But then who would you go in midfield? Maybe Lucas, maybe Bruno, but... You don't have the Leicester midfielders really to count on. It's tough this week, isn't it? It's tough. You could maybe go for Dominic Calvert-Lewin or Antonio. Already have Gray. Oh, yeah, that's where I mean. If you're looking for a midfielder under 6.1 million, it's getting really tough. Lamptey or Cucurella? I'd probably go for Cucurella. Got a front line of DCL, Ronaldo, Antonio. Should I take out Antonio for Dennis? There is doubts about the Watford, double. When you're looking at the game against Burnley, so maybe in the end you don't need to make that move. But I do prefer Dennis over Antonio, and it's a good move. Start Dawson or Cancelo. I'd go for Cancelo. Take out Salah and Watkins for Ronaldo and Jota. Yeah, that looks good, Pawan. I'd do that. Double Gameweek midfielder apart from Mount and Bruno. I mean, as things stand, Lucas Moura. If not, you're looking at Trossard or McAllister. But yeah, you don't have too many options, as you can see. El Ghazi to start. Yeah, possibly. But once again, with Everton, would I be bringing in El Ghazi? Probably not. And I would rather have Dominic Calvert-Lewin to cover Everton attack. Welcome, Martin. Hola, Dylan. Saludos, buena suerte, amigo. Thank you, Martin. Likewise to you. And yeah, buena suerte para vos también. Pero sí, parece una locura este game week. Anyway, Foden to Moura and Sonta Fernandez for a -4. I wouldn't do Foden to Moura. Sonta Fernandez, though, I think that's good. If you can afford that, then just do that, Surya. I wouldn't get rid of Foden for Moura. Trossard a good option for this game week, yes, but beyond that, probably not. Trossard or Moura, both reported to play up front. The way I see it, Trossard is more likely to have a double than Moura, and I say that because Spurs versus Arsenal could be called off. So I'd go for Trossard, but I'm not a big fan of either, to be honest. But thank you for the super chat, Jonathan. Much appreciated. Sarr and Kuko in for James and Gaeta for a -4. Yeah, I think that's pretty fine, to be honest. And I like Sarr as a long-term option. I would go for that, Ismail. Foster or Ramsdale, I'd probably just go for Foster, but yeah. Yeah, I'll try and get to that one. I didn't mean to do that. Let me try and get to your super chat. I'm scrolling up and up. I can't see your super chat. Bear with me for a second. Yeah, it's not there, unfortunately. But yeah, put what you said in the super chat and I'll try and get back to you. Coutinho to start. I think it's a possibility, but with Coutinho, he's someone I'm keeping an eye on and possibly bringing in for Game Week 23, if I'm being honest, rather than bringing him in right now already. Best Smith Rowe replacement? This is getting tougher by the minute. Probably Gray is one of them, but would I really bring him in? Probably not. If you can afford it, maybe Rafinha or Coutinho, but once again with Coutinho, he's someone I'd like to bring in Game Week 23 rather than now. Maddison to Bruno for a -4. That's not bad, but I might just keep Maddison in your case. Will Lukaku play? Yeah, I think so, Adam. What about Jorginho? You're relying a lot on him getting penalties in order to do well, so I probably wouldn't. Important question, any long-term defenders? Yeah, Cody or any Wolves defender really, Cash or Digne, and also Cucurella. I think those are good long-term options. Start Cucurella, Bowen or Trossard. I do not bench Bowen, so start him. But then again, if you've got Cucurella and Trossard, they are double game week players too. I wouldn't want to bench any of them, but definitely don't bench Bowen. Mount or Bowen this week? That's tough. It's quite evenly matched there because of the double for Mount, but I'd still go for Bowen. Thank you very much. From Algeria, says Hajem. Thank you very much, and good luck with this game week. Much appreciated. Foster or De Gea? De Gea. I would go for De Gea. Bowen or Martinelli? Definitely Bowen. Will Foden play? I believe so. He's definitely going to be available, unless he does have COVID again, which would be very unlucky for him. DCR Antonio to Ronaldo for a hit. It's 50-50 for me, Warner, honestly. And if I were to get Ronaldo in, it would be the same case as you, and it'd be 50-50. I'd probably just flick a coin and do it. But I was leaning more towards selling DCL instead of Antonio, but it can go either way. Because Antonio sometimes plays this deeper role, and he drops back a little bit more, allows the wingers to get into these really good positions like Bowen, and Antonio can be quite ineffective from an FPL perspective. With DCL, he's always going to be the focal point, but he relies a lot on service, especially in the air. So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of either of them, but at the same time, I'm not a huge fan of getting rid of any of them this week with the fixtures they have. Start Dallo or Dawson? I just start Dallo in case, but the problem would be, what if he doesn't start any of the games and just comes on for 20-minute cameos? That's the problem. But if he does get one start, then I think that will be worth it. Trossard or Maddison? I'd go for Trossard because of the double, but I prefer Maddison overall, if it wasn't for that. Tony or Antonio for Ronaldo? Despite the double for Tony, I'd probably get rid of him. I know it sounds a bit weird, and you might disagree, and I can understand that. Dennis or CR7? For the captaincy, CR7. In terms of who do I prefer long-term, it would be Dennis. Start Gray or free transfer Fernandez for Son? maybe start Gray, but I don't think Fernandes in for Son and benching Gray is a bad idea, Mitch, to be honest. Start Cancelo or Gray? That's tough. I'd probably go for Cancelo, but the fixture is very poor compared to Gray's. Mount and Kane, Bruno and King, or Mount and King? I mean, in normal circumstances, I said Mount and Kane, but the problem with that is Kane might not have a double. Mount is going to have 3 blanks soon, and it's just not looking promising with all of those, kind of duos there, because King could also have a double game week turn into a single game week. In game week 22, just looking at that specifically, I'd go for Mount and Kane, but just bear in mind there are risks with all of those options you just mentioned there. Semedo or Cancelo? I'd just say Cancelo in general, but Wolves defenders are looking good. Captain Dennis, King, Jota or Bowen? I'd go for Dennis, but if you're not too sure about them having a double, maybe consider Bowen, to be honest. Mount or Foden? For Game Week 22, Mount. In general, I prefer Foden. Sell Salame. I am thinking about it. Thank you very much to True Fandela. Much appreciated. Foden for KDB, Antonio for Ronaldo or Kane. Start Cancelo or Davis? Yeah, that's tough. Very tough questions. Thank you very much for the super chat. I would probably keep Foden. As for Antonio for Ronaldo or Kane, I would go for Ronaldo. And as for Cancelo or Davis, I would still maybe just play the odds and go for Davis because he has the double right now as things stand. But that could easily turn into a single game week. And if that was just a straight knockout between Cancelo and Davis with 1 game week, I would go for Cancelo. But right now, as things stand, you would probably want to favour the double game week player and team. Maddison or Gray? I prefer Maddison, but he has no double this week, and Gray's fixture is better. So I would rather have Gray for this week. But Maddison for me is a better player and FPL asset. Who to start, Maddison or Cancelo? Oh my god, these are really tough. I'd probably still go for Maddison, but very tough there. Telles or Alonso? I'd go for Alonso, but Telles should start both games because Shaw is suspended. You reckon Arsenal vs Tottenham will be cancelled? I think it's a possibility, yeah. I think right now it's quite likely. Son to Ronaldo or KDB Sterling? Son to Ronaldo, yeah. Captain Ronaldo, Kane or Bruno? Ronaldo. Lacazette out, Cavani in? I wouldn't go for Cavani personally. Bench Antonio or Kane? Neither. I wouldn't look to bench any of them. And if Kane ends up having a double game week, why would you bench a double game week player? Having said that, there is a chance that there is no double for them anyway. If I had to pick, it'd be Antonio, but I wouldn't be comfortable with that. Start King or Aspie? Oof, these are good questions. I'd maybe go for King. Trossard or Mount? For Game Week 22 specifically, I'd go for Mount, but who would I rather have? Because of the blanks, I'd just go for Trossard. Worth risk starting Dallo? Yes, potentially, but at the same time, if you have a safer option there, you could just go for them. I definitely wouldn't be benching someone like Trent or Jota or Cancelo for them, which I'm guessing you're not doing. Start Cancelo, Watkins or Bernardo Silva? Probably Cancelo. I'd probably go for him. Free hit, De Gea or Lloris? I'd go for De Gea. Mount captain? I think that's not a bad idea. Wow, 900 viewers in the house. The channel's getting big. Wow, I didn't even know it's 900, but I mean, I can tell the chats are actually absolutely crazy right now. So thank you very much to everyone. I have no idea. Let me double check this myself. But yeah, I'm quite surprised about that. But thank you very much to everyone who's decided to tune in. Yeah, over 800 people here. Much appreciated. And yeah, we'll still be going on until the deadline and trying to answer for as many questions as possible. Lukaku, Ronaldo, or Dennis for captain? Ronaldo. Same question, same answer as always, should I say. Dennis or King? Dennis. Bruno or Mount? Probably Bruno. I was going to say Mount, and I would rather go for Mount in general, but because of the blanks, has to be Bruno. Don't forget Dallo also plays on the left. Well, it would be Telles on the left and Dallo on the right, but to be honest, I'll just wait and see with United. And De Gea is my kind of preference in terms of their defensive coverage. And Telles would be a short-term solution. Shaw would be back, and then I wouldn't want to have Telles anyway. Who has a double game week? Everyone from before except for Burnley and Leicester, really. So we'll go through the fixtures now. And as you can see here, Brighton have a double game week still. Chelsea have a double game week. Brentford and Manchester United, they all have doubles. Also Watford as things stand. So basically, as you can see here, all these teams at the bottom except for Burnley. They're the only ones. And Spurs are another one right now. But let's wait and see. That could easily turn into a single game week if the North London derby is postponed. But yeah, things are really hectic right now. Opinions on bringing in Lukaku? Probably not, because if there's... Jesus. Voice crack. Oh my god, 1 second. All right, as I was saying, if there was any premium I'd be looking to bring in, it's Ronaldo. And also you want to be bringing in Salah around game week 24, 25 when he returns. So with Lukaku and also the blanks in 24, 25 and 27, for me it's a no. Will Duffy play? He might get one start out of the two, but he's not someone you want to bring in and you kind of just have as a set of forget because he's not going to be nailed long term, but he might get at least one start in game week 22, but I wouldn't really expect too much else. Antonio to Ronaldo, worth it? Yes, I think it is worth it, Jonathan. What of Cavani? I probably wouldn't consider him because he's the type to start one game, maybe get 60, 70 minutes, and then the next he comes on for 35 minutes or something. Cucurella or take risk with Lamptey? I'd be tempted by Lamptey, but I probably would just go for Cucurella. Mount or Lucas? Probably Lucas because he doesn't have blanks afterwards. Is that your team? Yes, it is, unfortunately. I already know there's quite a lot of problems with it, but at the same time, it requires a free hit or multiple hits. I'm not really a big fan of the hit, or should I say the free hit this week. Gundogan to Bruno for a hit and bench Antonio, or just play Antonio and bench Gundogan? I would play Antonio and bench Gundogan, to be honest. That's what I would do. I don't mind Gundogan to Bruno, and regardless, I think you should get rid of Gundogan eventually, but I think playing Antonio, benching Gundogan, and then reassessing and having 2 free transfers next week is the way to go. Antonio Ronaldo, Ronaldo this week for sure. Free hit, Telles or Reguilon? Telles is more likely to have a double game week stand, but I prefer Reguilon in general. But it's really difficult to answer a lot of these questions because, some players, for example, like Mount, I prefer, but they have blanks afterwards. Then you have, for example, Telles or Reguilon, I prefer Reguilon, but then you have to factor in the possibility of a postponement with the North London derby. Maupay or Trossard? I'd probably go for Trossard. Yeah, deadline is at 6:30. Yep, we've got over an hour left. Bench Watkins or Soufal? I'd probably go for Watkins on the bench, but I definitely wouldn't be looking to sell Watkins. Jota or Mount on free hit? Maybe go for Mount because of the double. Yeah. And also, not many people will be bringing in Mount because of the blanks afterwards, so you might be in a good position there. Should I bring in Kane? I would have said yes, but because of the North London derby concerns, I would probably just go for Ronaldo instead. Is Foden a liability? I think he will be available. Now, does that mean he's going to start every week? No. And he's going to get a lot of rests and occasional rotation, but when he does play, he's a very good option. Son to Lucas for a -4. Good option, especially if he does actually, play both games. But I'm not really concerned about Lucas being benched, more so of the game being postponed, as I keep talking about. Trossard or McAllister? I'd still go for Trossard, but McAllister is in better form. Son, ESR, and Antonio to Jota, Bruno, and Dennis. Says Lewis Cash. Yeah, that looks good actually. That's a good set of transfers. Just bear in mind, Dennis might not have a double in the end. Ronaldo fit for sure. I mean, there is a chance he doesn't start the first game, but I think he will start both. Reguilon or Cucurella? Probably Cucurella. Answer that. Captain Dennis or Fernandez? I'd go for Dennis. Lamptey or Cucurella? I'd go for Cucurella. Bowen or Trossard? Look, if you want someone for the long term, just get Bowen. I think that's the better choice. Sell Son and Watkins to Trossard and Ronaldo, or Son and James to Bruno and Villa defender? That's tough, mate. If you really want to attack Game Week 22, I'd go for the first set of options, but Villa defenders look very good, but for next week. So maybe right now is not the best time to bring them in, but in Game Week 23, they could have a double and then great fixtures. So I'd go for the first set of transfers and then possibly bring in a Villa defender next week. Dennis or King Captain? Dennis. Bowen or Lucas Moura? I just prefer Bowen, and if Lucas doesn't have a double, even more so. No problem, Ahmed. I try to answer all the questions. Sometimes it gets lost with the amount of chats that there are, which is crazy and obviously much appreciated, and I'm trying to do my best. -4 Tony to Ronaldo. Yes, I'd do that, George. I would definitely do that. Bowen, Dominic Calvert-Lewin or Dennis for captain? Probably Dennis, just in case he has a double, but I'm not sure if he does in the end. Didn't Ronaldo go home from training with an injury? I saw that report, but Ranić seemed quite positive he's going to be fit for tomorrow. So yeah, I'm going to probably trust his word a little bit and think that Ronaldo will play both games, but you never know. And who knows if those reports are even quite accurate. I'm not even sure. Bruno or Trossard? Probably Bruno. James, Son, Gray to Reguilon, Madison, Trossard for a -8. That looks pretty good, mate. Yeah. And to be honest, I'm seeing so many hits flying around, which I'm not surprised by. And yeah, I am quite tempted to take hits myself. Our boy Madison early. Yeah, obviously, it's quite easy for some people to say you shouldn't, well, I mean, I think you shouldn't make transfers early anyway, but I can understand why some people do it because you might be priced out, and also, there's so many different things that can go wrong right now. So you are unlucky in a way, but just in general, try to leave transfers as late as possible from now on, in my opinion. Hey Dylan, should I just do Fernandes to Son and bench Gundogan, or take a -4 for Fernandes and Jota in and bench one of Bowen, Gray, Rafinha? To be honest, I think Rafinha, despite the tough fixture, he has a good record against West Ham. Gray has a great fixture against Norwich, and Bowen is Bowen and faces Leeds. So I don't think you need to do anything this week, but Fernandes for Son looks good, and bench Gundogan, I think that's fine. And Gundogan can always, make a cameo appearance and maybe score, which is quite unlikely for him to score from that position, but I think that's fine. If you don't have Jota already, I just bring him in general, but you don't have to do it this week. You can do it next week. But basically, long story short, Eddie, I think Fernandes in for Son is more than enough. You don't have to make the other transfers, but at the same time, Jota's a great choice long term. Bruno or Lucas or Trossard? Probably Bruno out of those three. How's Leeds' defence lately? To be honest, I never trust Leeds defensively. I definitely wouldn't go for their assets, but at the same time, I would still target them. I don't think they're as bad maybe as they were a month or two ago, but they're still not great. Should I get Ronaldo or Kane? Ronaldo, I think, Karim. Douglas Luiz or Ramsey for the cheap midfielder spot? Maybe Ramsey, but not much in it. I think Ramsey just has a bit more attacking threat. Bench Trossard, Mount or Jota? Jesus, that is tough. That is really tough. Possibly Trossard, but would you really want to bench a double Gameweek player? That's the question. -4 Calvert-Lewin to Ronaldo. I don't think it's too bad, actually, despite the really good fixture for Everton. Ronaldo has the double, so he should make up that hit anyway. Do you prefer Spurs or Brighton defender? Maybe Brighton, because Spurs might have a postponement here against Arsenal, and also the fixtures are pretty poor for Spurs, if we're being honest. Brighton do have a blank game week in 24, though. Thanks, Dylan. Appreciate your help answering everyone's question. Thank you, Sudindra. Ashraf asked for the best free hit team. I think De Gea in goal. In defence, I would still go for Trent, probably Alonso or Rudiger, take your pick, and possibly Cucurella. In midfield, I would go for Bruno Fernandes, Lucas Moura, potentially, but he might not even have a double. Just bear that in mind. Then who else are we looking at? Jesus. The front three would probably remain the same, by the way. It would be Kane, Ronaldo and Dennis. As for the rest of the midfield, that's where it gets a bit tricky. I need 2 more midfielders. Obviously, if anyone has any suggestions, let me know. Probably need to recap my memory of these double game weeks, but this is absolutely incredible, isn't it? Yeah, do you know what? I'd still go for the single game weekers. I'd go for Bowen and possibly Mason Mount, actually. Yeah, I'd go for Mason Mount. So that would be my team. And I would probably captain Ronaldo and vice-captain maybe Kane, for example. That's what I'd go for. Yeah, I think I'd be fairly happy with that. I think that looks pretty good. You don't have to fill your team, exactly with all these double game week players. I'm going to end this poll, by the way, which I've had for quite some time. Thank you to everyone who actually voted. Over 1,300 of you voted, which is a record number of votes for a poll. I'll let it get up to 1,400 and then I will end it. But thank you very much. Reguilon or Emerson? I prefer Reguilon, but Emerson right now is a little bit more nailed. Just bear in mind, Spurs are looking for an upgrade in the right wing-back spot in the transfer window. Trossard, Rafinha or Foden? If I'm looking long-term, I would go for Foden or Rafinha, but for Game Week 22, it would have to be Trossard, Albany. Yeah. Dennis or Trent captain? I'd still go for Dennis just in case they have a double. Obviously, they have one right now, but that could easily turn into a single game week. Tony to Ronaldo, 10.6 million in the bank. Wow. Yeah, I think that looks good. And in terms of the what midfield, I'm not sure if you're looking for a free hit, because that would be very different, the answers I would give, but definitely go for Bowen and Jota if you can. I think they're good long-term options. Hey Dylan, Bruno this week or Sterling next? Probably Bruno this week, and then in 2 weeks' time you can get in someone like Salah. Well, definitely get Salah in 2 weeks' time. And he could have, by the way, I think it's in game week 26 or 27, Salah could have a double game week comprising of Norwich and Leeds. If that's the case, triple captaincy is already kind of secured there. Captain Kane with North London Derby at jeopardy of being off. If you have Ronaldo, I'd captain him, but I'm guessing you don't. Unless you have a free hit, it's very hard to have both of them in. But yeah, that's what I would say. If you have someone like Dennis, but then again, he also has a game in jeopardy as well, it's really tough, as you can tell. It depends on who else you have, Big A. But if you have Ronaldo, basically, go for him instead. Captain Ronaldo, Vice-Captain Sanchez. That looks good. That looks pretty good. Thank you, Albany. Start one of Bernardo, Watkins, Gay, or Dawson. Good question. Probably it's between Bernardo, Watkins, or Dawson, I think, which doesn't really narrow it down that much. I'd probably favour an attacker, so it's Bernardo or Watkins. And Watkins looked quite sharp against United in the FA Cup. What to do with Son or have Ronaldo already and same midfield as you, bar Salah? In that case, Daniel, maybe do Son to Bruno Fernandes. My head is all over the place right now. And then in 2 weeks' time, you can bring Salah back in with another transfer to find the money. Waste saying, I'm honestly not too sure about 6.3 million midfielder options. Most of them have a single game week, like Gray. He might be one to look at. Yeah, Lookman, exactly. But now the game's postponed. There's not too much to look at right now. Maybe Lanzini or Ulis, but yeah, I'm not too sure if I'd bring them in right now. Who would you bring in for -4, King or Dennis? Dennis, if I had to pick. Jorginho or Mount? Definitely Mount, but once again, Chelsea have 3 blanks, 24, 25 and 27. And let's get this up, by the way. Let's bring up a new screen. And yeah, let's get this up. So I think, there we go. So Bruno Fernandes versus De Bruyne. These are two of the best options we have to replace Son or Salah. De Bruyne only has 1 game this week, but the fixtures after that are amazing. You could also go for Raheem Sterling. He's another one to factor in. And if you look at the stats, Sterling is slightly better than De Bruyne. Bruno Fernandes, though, as you can see, in most of these metrics does trump De Bruyne, but he does have more minutes under his belt. De Bruyne has a lot, of benchings and, games in and out because of injury concerns. But yeah, this season both of them have been very disappointing, but they could come good and they could fill that little void in terms of replacing Son or Salah. But honestly, the ideal solution would be to take a hit potentially or make transfers and bring in Ronaldo up front and get a cheaper midfielder. But we have just next to nothing to choose from. Coutinho could be good in the long term, but he's not necessarily good in Game Week 22. So it's really slim pickings right now. But Bruno Fernandes statistically is better than De Bruyne, but De Bruyne plays in a better team. And I don't know. I just think De Bruyne is more capable of a double-digit return than Bruno right now. But yeah, it's just a shame. Bruno was such a great option last season. Nowhere near the levels this time round. Great performance in Game Week 1. Hasn't, come anywhere near since then. But there you go. Let me know what you think. Bruno Fernandes, De Bruyne, Sterling? Or do you think the best option is to just downgrade or even keep Son and Salah, which a lot of people are doing. Right now I'm doing that, keeping Salah. But I'm still not too sure about that because I actually want to get Ronaldo in, if possible, ahead of Game Week 22. And yeah, it's just absolutely hectic right now. Sanchez or De Gea? I'd start De Gea this week. Region or King for the bench? I'd probably bench Region, mate. Worth selling Antonio or DCL for Dennis from -4? Probably not, because Dennis might not even have a double game week. But do I prefer Dennis over those two? Yes, I do. But is it worth a -4? Maybe not if that game is postponed. Calvert captain? I probably won't, but fair enough. And to be honest, if he scored that penalty last week, then maybe people will think of him differently. Will Dallo start both games? I don't think so, mate. Who would you bench? Maddison, Antonio or Jota? Looking at the fixture, you'd probably say Maddison, but yeah. It's quite tough. First sub, Williams or White? I'd go for White, but I don't really expect that game to go ahead. Jota or Firmino? Definitely Jota all day long. Best Manchester United midfielder? For me, it's Bruno Fernandes still. Who will Coutinho replace? That's a good question. Well, the thing is, El Ghazi is going out, but he was never really a nailed-on starter anyway. But I think what they're going to do is maybe deviate away from the 2-striker formation, and possibly Ings or Watkins, they could rotate from time to time, and then it will be Coutinho on the left or possibly playing as one of the midfielders. So it's quite open, but obviously any Villa fans will give a better answer than I will. But yeah, I'd find it very hard to see both strikers starting and Coutinho unless Coutinho plays in the midfield. Kane or Ronaldo? Ronaldo, especially with the concerns about the North London derby. Best captain? Ronaldo, once again. I think Ronaldo is pretty much the main guy. Thank you, Mango. Is Foster back? Yes, he is back and he is available. Will he start? Maybe not. Welcome, Nick. Thank you very much. Hi, Dylan. I hope you're well. Would you captain Jota or Rashford if you had to pick one of them two? Thank you very much for your kind words, Nick. I probably would still go for Jota. Rashford just seems completely out of it, which is a shame. I'd still go for Jota. Is Jorginho worth having? No. The reason why is you're bringing in someone who's going to blank in 24, 25 and 27. And also, with Jorginho, you're relying a lot on penalties being given in order for him to haul. If there's any Chelsea midfielder I'd look at, it would be Mason Mount. Lookman, not too bad for a single game week, but I wouldn't get him in. Start Sanchez or Foster? I'd go for Sanchez. Kovacic or Trossard, ASD. Sanchez or Foster? Once again, like I said to Wei Seng, I'd go for Sanchez. Hi mate, should I trust Saka fitness or play Pookie instead? I'm more concerned about the game going ahead, but there is a chance Saka misses out. I don't think this injury was too serious, but it could be enough to rule him out. I'd still start Saka just in case. He's in very good form right now. Bench Silva or Foden? I'd probably bench Silva. Thank you, Aranya, for the super chats. Much appreciated as always. Start two amongst Bernardo, Sterling and Martinelli. I can't even read chats properly right now. I'd start Bernardo and Sterling, honestly, and I'd bench Martinelli. And you could make a case of starting Martinelli instead of Bernardo. I'd definitely start Sterling no matter what you do, Aranya. And I'd probably go for Bernardo as well. Is Jorginho? Yeah, already answered that, mate. Maddison or Coutinho? Because of the possible double in 23, I'd be very tempted by Coutinho, but to be fair, Maddison could have one as well. And I think Maddison is a better option as things stand, but I think that's one that will be clearer to answer in Game Week 23 rather than right now, which is very tough. If Maddison still had the double, then I'd definitely go for him. Is Lukaku playing? Yes, he should be playing. Mora or Bruno? I'd go for Bruno. DCL or Cavani? DCL. Amir. 4-point hit. Watkins to Ronaldo? I think that's fine, Stephen. Just bear in mind that Watkins could have a double in 23 and he's got good fixtures as well. Do I play Saka? I don't think it's a bad idea to play Saka. It just depends who you're benching, really. That's the thing I'd be concerned about. Foster or Ramsdale? I'd probably go for Foster. I just don't expect Ramsdale to have a fixture anyway, and it is against Tottenham, so it's not ideal. Who to bench out of Antonio or Firmino or Gallagher and Coutinho? I would bench Firmino instead of Antonio, so I would start Antonio, and Gallagher or Coutinho. That's a tough one. I think Gallagher could do alright still, but I guess I'd bench Coutinho, but I don't know. Maybe you are not too comfortable with that. Antonio Watkins to Ronaldo. Honestly, I'd rather keep Watkins long term, so it has to be Antonio out. But it's just a weird time to get rid of him. Alonso or Azpilicueta? Alonso for sure. Ronaldo injury, please, and free hit players. I went for a free hit team earlier. Captain Ronaldo, and in terms of the injury news, Ranić is quite confident he'll be available tomorrow. The same goes for other players like Jones and a few others like Sancho, I believe. In terms of a free hit team, it would be... let's actually go back to my team now. So 1 second. And yeah, this is my transfers at the moment. Cucurella could come in. But yeah, in terms of the free hit, De Gea in goal, Alonso, Trent and Cucurella in defence. In midfield, it would be... let's try to recollect this quickly. Bowen, Jota. Then it would be Lucas Moura and Bruno Fernandes. And up front, it would be Dennis, Ronaldo and Kane. Just bear in mind, a few of these teams might not have a double, and the captain would be Ronaldo again. Opinions on Anthony Gordon? Probably one of the better 4.5 million choices. Just don't expect him to score every single week. Before last game week, he didn't score a Premier League goal in his career, but he's been very promising recently for sure. Do you think Trent will play? No, he definitely will play. He played against Arsenal in the Carabao Cup yesterday, and he was building his fitness back up. He'll play, I'm fairly sure. If I'm wrong about that, then that just sums up this game week, to be honest. Sell Salah or Son? I know it sounds a bit weird, but I would probably rather sell Son because Salah is more likely to come back a bit earlier in Game Week 24. With Son, he could still be out for some time, maybe up until Game Week 25 or 26. And Salah you want to have, when he comes back for sure. Will Watkins play? Yes, and he played in the FA Cup as well. Which one to bench, Alonso or Cancelo or Diop? I would bench Diop, yeah. Good evening, mate. Kane as captain. It's not bad, John. I would just have a few concerns about that because of the North London derby possibly being postponed. So that would be my only concern about that, mate. Play Ramsdale or Foster? Once again, Foster. I'll try, by the way, don't be offended, but I'll try to just go through the questions that I haven't answered yet, and especially the people who haven't answered. Some of these questions I have answered a few times. Should I hold Son? I think if you can, maybe sell him. But the problem is, who do you go to? It's just, there's not that many options, really. Maybe Bruno, but it's not really that enticing right now. Double up on King and Dennis free hit. Yeah, I think it's not too bad, mate. Just bear in mind that Watford might not have a double. That's the problem I have there. Trossard for free hit, in my opinion. Fair enough. Yeah, Trossard or McAllister. You could still go for them instead of Lucas, for example. Best on replacement, either Bruno Fernandes or you're looking at maybe Raheem Sterling or De Bruyne. Otherwise, you're looking at Coutinho or Rafinha. Obviously, if you don't have Jota or Bowen, go for them. They're no-brainers. Will Ronaldo start? I believe so. Don't hold me to that. It's just my opinion. Aiden says, that's your team. All chips available. 2 free hits, 1 free transfer, 0.6 million in the bank. Honestly, you could just roll. Looking at your team, I think you could actually just get away with rolling. Maybe Livramento out, but then who do you get in? Maybe Cody. That's what I would look at for your team, Aiden, if you make a transfer. Otherwise, just keep it. Or maybe Heung-min Son out for Bruno if you can afford it. I'm not sure if you can. But yeah, otherwise, just keep it, roll the transfer, and move on. Bernardo out for Foden. I'm not too sure. You could just roll the transfer and see what happens, to be fair. Which 2 players to bench? Dalot, Gray, Maddison, or Dawson? I would probably bench Dawson, and then it's between Maddison or Dalot. I'm not too sure if Dalot gets a start, and that's why I might just bench Dalot in your case and start Maddison and Gray. Should I triple up on Man City players versus Chelsea? Probably not, mate, because any triple ups right now could be severely punished, and also Chelsea is still a tough fixture, so I'm not too sure about a triple up, to be honest. A double is, more than enough. And yeah, Aiden, hopefully you got that, because I did answer your question just now. Coutinho or Rafinha? Honestly, I don't want to lie to you or just give you a half-hearted answer. It's very tough for me to answer that, concretely, because Coutinho, we haven't seen him play yet in the Premier League once again. Right now, I'd say Rafinha, but if I see something I like from Coutinho, then I might veer towards him. And also with Villa, they have great fixtures. That's what they have over Leeds. They're also a better team, and they could have a double in Game Week 23. So could Leeds, but I think Villa, I don't know, their fixtures in general just look better. But obviously, if they do end up doubling, I think they would face each other in the end. But yeah, right now, I'd say Rafinha. In a week's time, it could be Coutinho, basically. Jota or King captain? I'd still maybe go for the double Gameweek player, but it's quite tough. Maybe I just go for King, but it's really tough there. Lanzini or Coutinho? I'd maybe go for Coutinho, but Lanzini's been very good recently. Very, very good. Jimenez or Watkins? For Gameweek 22, Jimenez, but I would rather keep Watkins long term. Ahmed asks, Antonio or Calvert-Lewin? That's the $1 million question, mate, isn't it? Antonio's been better all season, but Calvert-Lewin, that injury has pretty much, it's just been a big blow for him and Everton. I don't know. I mean, yesterday I would have said I would rather keep Antonio, but I'm kind of 50-50 on it. I'll stick to my original answer, and I'd probably say I just about prefer Antonio. But in the end, I might end up selling Calvert-Lewin or Antonio for Ronaldo. My own case, it's very tough, to be honest, and anything can happen, and one good decision could end up looking pretty bad in a week's time. What are your transfer plans? I put in a poll earlier, but I could either roll. I could either do James to Cucurella. I could take a -4 or a -8 to bring in Cristiano Ronaldo and then get another midfielder. And another thing I could do is Salah to Bruno Fernandes. So yeah, it's all up in the air right now. And honestly, I'm just not too sure what I'm going to do in the end, because yeah, anything that happens, there's just so many different stipulations and things that can go wrong that honestly I'm a bit put off any single transfer plan. Best 6 million defender or under 6 million defender to bring in? Cody, Cucurella, Cash, Digne, one of those 4. I think Wolves have the best defence of the lot, but then you're looking at doubles and fixtures, then Villa might look the best out of those teams I just mentioned. Captain King or Ronaldo? Definitely Ronaldo. Carl says, already transferred Salah to Son this game week early, thinking Son to Bruno for a -4, playing Cancelo over Bernardo and Foden. I think that looks fine. You could always play Foden, Carl. But yeah, I think a -4 is fine for Bruno. One attack and return should cancel that out. What do you think of Trossard as a Son replacement or roll the transfer? In Game Week 22, Trossard could do very well. I'm just not too sure about him afterwards, and he does blank in 24 against Chelsea. That's what puts me off him in my own team. In a free hit, I would like Trossard, to be fair. Any Liverpool attacker you recommend other than Jota? Maybe Firmino, but I just wouldn't go for him. And for your normal team, I just wouldn't look to bring in any more Liverpool players than you need to, because you want to bring in Salah in game week 24 or 25, and it makes it more difficult if you have a triple up in Liverpool with Trent, Jota, and let's say a Firmino. So honestly, I would just avoid. Thank you, Adults in Denial. What a name, by the way. Gracias, Dylan. I'm tempted to go punty with Coutinho next week, but will depend. Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to wait for that kind of news. And one appeal of holding and rolling the transfer is I could have 2 free transfers, bring in Cash or Digne, and also Coutinho or Watkins. So much can happen. I don't know what this message is that people keep putting, but yeah, it seems like a scam or something. I'm not even sure what that is. But yeah, either way, that's been dealt with. I'm going to try get the super chat up right now. Thank you very much, Aranya. Once again, you didn't have to, mate. Much appreciated. Start Anthony Gordon or Bernardo for this game week? That's a really good question, actually. Wow. Wow, that is one of the toughest questions I've had today. I probably would go for... I'd play the fixture and go for Anthony Gordon, but 1 second I think Bernardo, the next I think Gordon. That's really tough. Yeah, and wow, that's a really tough one. That's up there for the questions today. But hopefully whoever you start ends up doing better. Lukaku, Ronaldo, Ronaldo, no doubt about it. Foden to Mount for a -4. No, because Mount has blanks in 24, 25 and 27, so I wouldn't do it. Start 2, Foden, Watkins or Maddison. I would probably bench Watkins potentially. Soufal or Dallo. I prefer Soufal. Will Dallo start 2 matches? No, he might start 1, and that's probably the most you're getting. Start Martinelli or Tony. I'd go for Tony for the double gameweek player, and also Martinelli might not even have a game. Son out for Sterling, Mahrez out for Lucas, and Gelhardt out for Dennis. And should I still trust Dennis' captaincy? You can still trust him, but he's not as reliable as he was before. And that, those set of transfers look good, but yeah, you know what? That looks pretty good. Just bear in mind the North London derby could be postponed. Watford Burnley may be postponed as well. Yep. And that's why I'm not that sure about my captain right now. Goalkeeper Sanchez or Ramsdale. This week Sanchez. Rudiger or Alonso. It's 50-50 to be honest, Mango. I don't think I'd possibly go for Alonso, but Rudiger also possesses some attacking threat. Gaito Ramsdale. I mean, maybe Ramsdale, but I mean, I'm not too sure about either of them starting this week. I think Gaita's flagged and Ramsdale might not even have a game this week. Bernardo Silva to Jota for a hit. I think it's worth the hit, potentially, but you could always wait for next week and you have a bit more clarity about everything and you might want to make other transfers instead, like Coutinho or Rafinha, if they have a double. Antonio Calvert-Lewin. I guess Antonio, but the thing is, with Antonio, I don't know. I think if you can cover West Ham with Bowen, that's already enough, and you can get the focal point of Everton's attack in Calvert-Lewin. As things stand, I go for Antonio, but I'm willing to change my mind, and I might end up going for a Calvert-Lewin in the end and selling Antonio in the weeks to come. Should I get Mount? Probably not, because, once again, I don't want to repeat myself, but Chelsea have multiple blanks soon, so I wouldn't go for a Chelsea defender. Thank you very much, Abir. Much appreciated, and it means a lot, so thank you very much. Antonio, yeah, don't want to repeat that. Does anyone have any idea of whether Foden's fit? He should be fit. Obviously, we'll wait and see. But the problem with City is that they have more cases, more COVID cases, so that could be a concern. Which game is likely to be postponed? Arsenal versus Spurs and Burnley versus Watford. I almost said Leicester. Yeah, that game has already been postponed. Foden out so I can get Ronaldo. I think that's not a bad idea, but you probably want Foden back in game week 23. The fixtures are fantastic for them. Thank you, Abir. I mean, I haven't even cleared my own doubt, but it's good to hear that I've cleared someone else's. Honestly, my head's all over the place in terms of my own transfer plans. I probably won't end up making a transfer. Thoughts on Malpai? Might be a decent double game week option, but he does blank in 24, and I just think there's better choices throughout the forward line, so I probably wouldn't. Free hit or not, I'm honestly put off the free hit with all the postponements and the possible further postponements that are going to happen. Mount or Mora on a free hit, I would go for Mount, probably, yeah, if I had to pick one. Trossard or Gray, Trossard this week. Dennis or Ronaldo, captain, Ronaldo. Bruno or Trossard, captain, I'd probably go for Bruno. Watkins or Antonio to Ronaldo, probably Antonio because Watkins might have a double in 23 and just good fixtures in general. 8-point hit to prevent using my 2 free hits and wildcard. Yeah, I think it's not too bad. And a lot of people are in the same boat, even though that's not that reassuring. But yeah. Bench 1, Watkins, KDB or Dallo. Probably Dallo out of those three, Luke, but it does seem a bit weird to bench a double game week player. And just kind of word of caution with Dallo, if, for example, Ranić decides, you know what, I'm not really that convinced with Wan-Bissaka, Dallo could come in and then you might regret benching him. So there is always that possibility. But assuming that Dallo is benched for both games, which is quite likely considering how the lineups have been recently for United, I would rather bench him, but it's very, very risky. Stupid question, but Veltman or Foden? I don't think it's a stupid question. I'd probably go for Veltman because of the double. But yeah. Wildcard, yes or no? I'd say no, because what if you wildcard to something and then you get more postponements, which is quite likely right now. I just don't think it makes sense. I wouldn't go for a wildcard. Bench and sell one between Gray, Antonio and Watkins. I'd bench Watkins and I'd possibly sell Gray or Antonio. I mean, I'm not sure about that, but I definitely wouldn't sell Watkins because of the fixtures afterwards. King or no? I wouldn't bring in King right now, possibly because of all the uncertainty surrounding Watford and their game against Burnley. It's mainly because of Burnley, just to make that clear. It's not Watford having problems themselves. Maddison or Gallagher on the bench? I'd probably bench Gallagher, but Gallagher could do alright against West Ham. That's a 50-50 one. Jota or Bowen? I'd say both, but if you had to pick one right now, probably Bowen. I think he will do better this week, but who knows? Both have great fixtures. Start Dallo, fair enough. That might be the way to go, Caspiano. You might be right, to be fair. Start Mbeumo or Gallagher. I'd probably go for Mbeumo because of the double, but yeah, keep Ronaldo captain or swap to Dennis or Lukaku. Do not sell Ronaldo. Honestly, I think you just keep him. Cucurella or Alonso? Long-term Cucurella. For this game week, I'd say Alonso. Best Son replacement, Bruno Fernandes if you want a like for like, if not a City midfielder like Sterling or De Bruyne. Otherwise, you're looking at Rafinha or Coutinho in Game Weeks 23 onwards if they have a double. Yeah, so I'm probably going to try my very best to actually make a transfer. I haven't actually got round to it. We've got half an hour left, so make your transfers. I'm going to just check Twitter very quickly, see if there's any news, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, I just don't think there's anything confirmed yet, and we'll probably get more confirmation of rescheduling or postponements after the deadline. Yeah, checking right now, I just don't see anything. But yeah, I think I actually might end up just making some transfers and getting Ronaldo in potentially. But that does mean selling Salah, and I'd have to take another hit further down the line to then bring Ronaldo back in. But let me know what you think of this. So as you can see on screen, what I've currently got is Cucurella in for Reece James for a free transfer. Just leave it like that. Next week, possibly take a hit to get Rafinha or Coutinho if they have a double game week in 23. They can come in. And I could also bring in Cash or Digne in for Livramento. So that is one possibility. If not, just looking at this week, I might actually just end up getting Cucurella still. And then we've got 1.1 million in the bank. I can sell Salah. Then I could just bring in any midfielder. I just don't know. Then it would be a case of selling Calvert-Lewin or Antonio for Cristiano Ronaldo. And then, yeah, I mean, who knows what I'd do with the rest of the money. I mean, I'm just not a big fan of these options in midfield. But as you can see, let me just give you an example. It would be Ronaldo in attack. Then how much money do we have? 8.9 million. So, I mean, I'm not even sure who to go for. You've got Mason Mount, but he's got blanks afterwards, which puts me off. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of these options. Maybe Rafinha could be all right. And, yeah, I mean, that doesn't look too bad, Rafinha or Coutinho, but I mean, this just seems completely weird, to be honest, all these transfer plans I'm making. Maybe a kind of easier thing to do is just to do Salah to Bruno. That I could just do that and, you know, just wash up my hands and leave it and let fate decide, basically. But, yeah, as you can see, I'm quite conflicted with these plans and I'm not even sure if I'm going to make a transfer in the end. Thank you, Amir, for the super chat. Kepa and Varane or De Gea and Semedo Emerson free hit? That's a good question, actually. I would probably go for De Gea in goal, and I mean, I can see why you're doing Kepa and Varane, but I would rather cover Chelsea with Rudiger or with Alonso. The problem I have with that is Semedo only has a single game week against Southampton, and then you look at Emerson, he might not even have a double against Arsenal. So that's what puts me off that. But, you know, assuming that everything's fine and there's no more postponements, De Gea and Emerson looks good, but just bear in mind there are some risks behind it. Kepa and Varane looks pretty decent though, and that's a nice set of differential players, and it might be what you need. Arsenal have requested postponement of North London derby, says Stephen. Thank you very much. And there were talks earlier about, yeah, I just saw that now, by Sami Mokbel. Yeah, Arsenal requested to the Premier League that Sunday's North London derby be postponed. Tottenham are angry. Of course they are, because this is a good time for them to play us, despite the fact that they don't have Heung-min Son. Let me try and get that up for you, though, on Twitter. So just give me a second. Alright, so let's see. Let's get Twitter up. I'm going to try show you this, just so people can see on screen and make this clear. Okay, no, we're just seeing Arsenal propaganda. That's probably not what people want to see. Oh my god. Can we actually find it, please? Hello? But anyway, yeah. Oh my god. As you can see, Twitter's absolutely hectic right now, and no one knows what to make anymore. Let me, you know what? I'm actually going to search this up. This is just to save some time. As you can see here, report for the Daily Mail. Normally don't trust the Daily Mail, but it's about the journalists, not the publication sometimes. As you can see, Arsenal have requested to the Premier League that the North London derby be postponed. So typical. I actually know someone who was supposed to go to the game. He's a Spurs fan, and yeah, this is just typical as soon as he gets a ticket. But yeah, there you go. And thank you very much, Stephen, for pointing that out. Much appreciated. Benteke Edouard. Has to be Edouard, mate. Has to be Edouard. Mango, yeah. Dennis or King Captain Dennis? Son to Mount or Trossard? Probably Trossard because of the blanks for Chelsea. Is Ronaldo fit? He should be fit in time for the game, and there are still concerns about it, but I think he will be fine. You know, Ranić seemed quite positive. Who to captain out of De Gea, Alonso, Dennis, King or Bowen? I'd still go for Dennis, I guess, but just bear in mind that one of the games could be postponed. Double for Dennis, possibly just a single, mate. That's the problem. Cucurella to or Robertson? Cucurella. Yeah, Mango, already answered your question, mate. Start Foden or Dalot? I'd probably go for Foden, I guess. Yeah, that's what I'd probably go for. Anyway, let's get back to my team and back to the shenanigans. Let me know, like I said, what you would do in my situation. But honestly, you know, I could easily free hit, take a -8, -4, or do nothing. You know, that's the kind of game week we have right now on our hands. But yeah, it's just absolutely hectic right now. Yeah, we'll just wait and see. I mean, this is the problem I have with leaving transfers for late, because I like to just go into a stream with my transfers set, but with the current climate, it's just so difficult to do that. So yeah, in the end, just leaving it very late. Antonio doubtful. Thank you very much, M. Urzo. I'm going to double check that just to see if that's the case, but I haven't seen anything like that online or anyone mentioned in the chat, so that would be a bit surprising if that's the case. I'm going to search up on Twitter as well. But yeah. Oh my god, this is absolutely nightmare, isn't it? Let's see. Yeah, I don't see anything about Mikel Antonio. Has anyone seen anything? If you have, let me know. But I don't think Antonio is doubtful. Obviously, that would make it a bit easier. I could just sell Antonio for Ronaldo and take some hits. Ronaldo, Dennis for captain. Ronaldo, mate. Ronaldo. Ideal for me is Dennis. He's my captain right now, but not really too sure. City hit hard by COVID. Yeah, exactly. And that's why I want to make a transfer, just to cover, you know, just in case Cancelo or Foden miss out. But, yeah. I think in the end, you know, I'm just, by the minute, I'm getting more tempted to bring in Ronaldo for some hits and captain him. Bench Bernardo or Cancelo? I would probably bench Bernardo. Do you think Dalot will start? Possibly one game, mate, but I don't expect him to start both. I'd be very surprised if he does. Foden or Gray? Very tough question. I'd possibly go for Foden. I'm thinking Bernardo to Spurs or C midfielder, or Watkins to Kane or Edouard. It's very tough, Goldhead, because Spurs could have a postponement just now. You know, Arsenal just requested one for the North London derby. Maybe just keep things as they are, mate. You know, you probably want to have Watkins for Game Week 23 anyway. And Bernardo, you can just keep him this week, sell him next week. Lukaku, I wouldn't bring him in. He's got blanks in 24, 25 and 27. I wouldn't do that. Who are you captain? Dennis. As things stand, Kerwin. But if I brought in Ronaldo, he would definitely be my captain. Is Burnley-Watford off? It's not off yet, but it could be in a few days' time. Thank you very much, Aranya, for the super chat once again. Bench one of Bernardo, Sterling, Gordon, Broja, Region and Lamptey. I have Sanchez, double game week becoming single game weeks for some teams have put me in a dilemma. If I had to pick one, I would possibly bench one of either Bernardo Silva, Broja or Gordon. And then it gets a bit more difficult. I might just play the fixture and start Gordon, but he's not really a prolific goal scorer. He's not someone you can rely on to get consistent attacking returns, but really good fixture. He's in great form. Broja, I think he's a bit of an injury concern anyway. He's facing Wolves, isn't it? But yeah, I'm going to double check this, by the way, for you. But I think Broja is a bit of an injury concern. So yeah, head injury. I mean, you know what? If I had to pick one, maybe I'd bench. Maybe I just bench. Oh, as you can see, it's really tough. Bernardo Silva possibly, but yeah, that could easily go one of two ways, you know. But yeah, that's a tough question, mate. Thank you very much once again for the super chat, Ryan. You didn't have to. Much appreciated. Let me get this chat back up. Do we bench or sell Reguilon now? I just keep him, and in your case, possibly bench him. Lukaku on a free hit. I mean, I can see why. Maybe getting him in for Kane. I mean, that makes sense, but I wouldn't get in Lukaku for my normal team, just to make that clear. Ronaldo to Kane? No. Especially with Kane possibly not even having a double. James out for Cody? Yeah, I like that idea. I like it, even if it's not a double. You know, Wolves have a good defence. That's pretty good. Dubravka injury concerns? There's injury concerns all over, isn't it? And also COVID and postponements and everything. Fair enough, Daniel. Thank you very much. Yeah, I haven't seen anything, if I'm being honest. I'll try to check that for you. But yeah, honestly, I haven't seen anything. Haven't had time to check anything regardless. But I'm going to have a little look right now. But yeah, if that's the case, I would just sell Antonio and get Ronaldo and just make some moves. Oh yeah, so yeah, there's the tweet is by ex-West Ham employee who tends to give some reliable news. I don't know at this point, but both of them are knocks. Dawson has been playing with his for a while now. Antonio picked his up in the game. A late decision will be made. Moyes doesn't even know yet. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? You know what? I think that would just incline me to take the hits, to be honest. Hi Dylan, please check this on. Ambrosia to Kane and I wouldn't get Kane in Weiseng because Arsenal versus Spurs could be postponed. I'd get Ronaldo instead, mate. Son to Fernandes looks fine also, Weiseng, but do not bring in Kane, I think, in my opinion. Force on Maddison, he could be quite enticing if he has a double in 23, but I wouldn't bring him in. If I brought him in already, I just keep him and play him potentially. Why not play Reguilon? I was just saying for someone else. I mean, I'm not sure why, to be honest, but he probably has a lot of depth. I'd start Reguilon just in case, but there is a chance he just has one game against Leicester. Tomorrow, City vs Chelsea will end 0-0. City will get a pen, but Kepa will save it. Wow, that's very wishful thinking, Amir, but, you know, stranger things have happened. And that might be a little bit of a redemption story arc because against City in a Carabao Cup final, he refused to come off, you know, with Sarri, and then he ended up, well, he saved 1 or 2 penalties, I think, but wasn't enough to win the game. Ronaldo, Mount and Maddison for a -8. I mean, just, it's not bad, mate. It's good players you're bringing in, but I'm not too sure about Mount because he's got blanks in 24, 25 and 27, you know. Don't want to sound like a rewinded tape. Yeah. This is quite hectic. I'm going to make some late transfers now, I think. I was actually thinking, you know, as deluded as I am, you know, to just roll over potentially and not do anything, but this doesn't look likely. Thank you to everyone who's been tuning in. If you haven't already, like I said already, smash the like button and subscribe if you're new. It's much appreciated. I don't know why I said already. 2 times already. And that's 4 times actually. But yeah, the Galactic Hobbit says best Son replacements. If you want a like for like, it has to be Bruno. Otherwise, you're looking at Rafinha, Coutinho, Bowen, Jota. Then there's the C midfielders, but we just don't have too many options in general. Thank you, Weiseng, and good luck to you as well. We need the luck right now, definitely. Alright, I'm going to try to show you a best free hit team because I know some of you have free hitted. I want to, you know, show you the updated one. I've been talking about it earlier, but I want to put it on screen for you lot. But yeah, I'm going to firstly try to sort out the transfers. I think there was something else I wanted to do, but you know what? My head's all over the place right now. Yeah, so for 8.9 million, I want to see what you guys think. Who would you bring in as a midfielder this week? I'm guessing a lot of you would say Mason Mount, but once again, I keep talking about a lot of blanks for Chelsea soon. That puts me off severely. I'm also checking Twitter right now. Yeah, Arsenal just released a statement, by the way, of the requested postponement for the game against Tottenham. Jesus Christ, this is absolutely ridiculous, isn't it? But yeah, I'm not too sure about this midfielder. That's what's putting me off with these transfers. I might even just bring in a Brighton midfielder, potentially, but then I would have 2 Brighton players with a blank in 24, and that's something else to think about. Dylan, start Gray or Watkins? I'd play the fixture and start Gray, Sadindra. Yep, and that says Trossard. You know what? I'm going to put a poll out just to make this quicker. And then I'll try to put a... Yep, more people saying Trossard. Rafinha. Yeah, I like those shouts. Spurs vs Arsenal is about to be confirmed, postponed. Probably, yeah. The way it's looking. I'd be very surprised if it does go ahead. Jesus, and to think I wanted Son and Reguilon at one point for a -4. Wow, look how things have changed. So, best midfielder. This is for 8.9 million. Otherwise, I'd just go for Bruno Fernandes or something. So we'll put Mount, I guess, because a lot of people will be going for him. Rafinha. Do I put Coutinho in this? Let's see what other... 8.9. How about Sancho? Yeah, I mean, the thing is, though, I haven't seen enough from Sancho to really buy into it. He is still a bit of a doubt, I think. But Ranić was quite confident, I think, of all of them being available. But yeah, that's not a bad shout. I'm just not really thinking about it too much. Cody or Kilman? I'd probably say Cody, but there's literally not much in it, Nabil. I think both are fine. I'd probably go for Cody, though. Broja or Cash first bench? Good question, mate. I'd probably go for Broja, Weiseng. Mbumo? To bring in, I'm honestly avoiding all Brentford players, and the fixtures are really poor. So it's a no from me, but yeah. Why not just do Son to Bruno? That is another possibility, but it's just I haven't seen enough from Bruno to really go for him. I would rather go for Ronaldo, and also Antonio's apparently a doubt for Game Week 22. Or Watkins to Ronaldo and Son to Gray. Son to Fernandes, Watkins to DCL. I would probably do... That's tough, mate. I'd probably do Watkins to Ronaldo, Son to Gray, but just bear in mind, Watkins could have a double in 23, and he's got good fixtures. But anyway, I'm going to put this poll out. I'm not too sure who to put in for the fourth midfielder. We just don't have that many to choose from. But yeah, I mean, might just even put Sancho in the end. Trossard. Who's another midfielder? I'm actually trying to think of these. This is quite tough to think about. North London derby postponed. It probably is about to be, mate. But yeah, Arsenal have submitted a request. So yeah, no North London derby to worry about for Arsenal and Spurs fans respectively. I mean, look, this would have been very simple if Maddison still had a double game week. I would have brought him in and just make these, take this -8 and that's it. But, things are so hectic right now. Which midfielder do I even talk about? I mean, yeah, this is honestly just baffling to me. I don't even know which midfielder to even consider bringing in. Gallagher? Do I really go for him? But then he has Liverpool next week. This is absolutely a mess. Yeah, I'll try... think of another midfielder quickly because I actually want to move on, make the transfers, and also show you a best free hit team very quickly. We've only got 22 minutes left for the deadline, so make sure to pencil in your transfers as soon as possible. These transfers are looking so poor in midfield. Honestly, wow. I'm trying to look for another midfielder. You know what? Let's just put Sancho in it for the bants. Yeah, this is what this has come to. This is fantasy Premier League luck or fantasy Premier League, I don't know, L's. Yeah, let's just put best midfield out of these four. Let's see what else you guys are saying. Greenwood, yeah, Greenwood's another one. Yeah, fair enough. That's a good one. That's a good shout. Good shout. Would you play Foster for Ramsdale? Probably, mate. As I said all stream, I probably would. Foden, Coutinho, or Lucas for Son? Probably Foden long term. Will. Yeah, I'd probably do that. Odegaard to Mount. Once again with Mount. I mean, I like him. I really do like Mount. The problem is the blanks in 24, 25 and 27. Let me just show you because, just to make it clear. So let's look at Mount. Yeah, really nice points totals and everything. But look at this. So he's got Man City away, Brighton away, Tottenham at home. And obviously the two games I just mentioned, the first two, that's the double game week in 22. Then he's got blanks in 24, 25, away fixture to Palace, and then another blank in 27. I think that's because that game coincides with the Carabao Cup final, and 24 and 25, that coincides with the Club World Cup. So, yeah. What I would say, though, is that from 28 onwards, Chelsea look absolutely great for a double or triple up, especially if, COVID calms down a little bit. Let's see what you guys are saying. So 41% of you still go for Mount, and to be honest, why go for the long-term options when all of our plans go in the dust anyway? But yeah, that's what you say. Bruno or Greenwood? I'd go for Bruno. Bruno for Son. Dennis best captain? I think Ronaldo's the best captain, and that's why I'm looking to bring him in. Antonio to Ronaldo? Yeah, I'm looking for something similar, Osman. And Antonio is a slight doubt, I think, for the weekend. Trossard for Son. Good option for 22 and 23. Some good fixtures long term. A blank in 24 though. But yeah, I think that's not too bad. If Spurs are no longer having a double game, then does Bernardo become a better option than Reguilon? Possibly, because Reguilon is facing Leicester, and I'm not that, convinced with a clean sheet in that game, to be fair. Yeah. Pulisic, I mean, that's not a bad shout either. I'm just not a big fan of Pulisic because of his injury record, and I do prefer Mount if I had to pick a Chelsea midfielder. I'd go Trossard, fair enough. Did I even put Trossard in the... Yeah, I did. Wow, it's really tight between Mount and Trossard right now. The thing is with Trossard, he does have a blank in 24, so if I do bring in Cucurella too, it's not looking great, but yeah, what I could do actually, instead of taking a -8, I could just keep James. I know it sounds stupid, but play Trent, Cancelo and Alonso, and just bring in Trossard in midfield, or something like that. But honestly, my head is all over the place with these transfer plans. And let me quickly show you the best free hit team, just to make it clear for all of you, because I didn't put a visual demonstration on the chat. So I'd keep Alonso, I'd go for Trent, and I would go for Cucurella. So let's get this done quite quickly. I mean, in terms of bench players, who the hell knows at this point, to be fair. But I'd definitely go for Mason Mount. I'd go for Bruno Fernandes. I'd go for Jota and Bowen, despite single game week. You could go for Trossard instead if you wish. That's no problem. You can go for Bruno Fernandes. Let me get his name up. Yeah, Fernandes up here. Dennis, I mean, he might not even have a double game week in the end. I might go for Kane. Not Kane anymore. It'd be Ronaldo. Slim pickings, mate. Slim pickings. You could go for Lukaku potentially, but I'm not too sure. I mean, in the end, could just go for King, I guess. But once again, Watford might not have a double game week anymore. Then we've got 10.5 million to invest in the rest of our defence, and who knows at this point. I wouldn't go for a Spurs defender right now. Then I'd probably look at maybe a Wolves defender, maybe Cody. I mean, ideally, what you would be doing here with this team anyway is play a 3-4-3, play Alonso, Cucurella, Trent. That's the main thing. You play De Gea in goal. Forget about Ramsdale, by the way. Just go for Foster or Backman as your second keeper. Yeah, play Mount, Jota, Fernandes and Bowen. And then Ronaldo, King and Dennis up front. If you wish, you could play Gray or maybe another defender instead of King. But I probably would just go for the 3 up front. I'd go for something like this. So just to quickly show you, we've got 70 minutes left for the deadline, by the way. Hopefully, things calm down a little bit, so it's not so stressful. 6.6 million. Yeah, you could just go for any defender, really. You could still go for Reguilon if you wish, but would really recommend it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you could go for Lamptey. Who knows? Just go something like this. Any defender you wish for. You should have enough money to afford this team. You could go for Lukaku up front instead, and maybe instead of Bruno Fernandes, go for Trossard. You could go for that. But yeah, let me know what you think. I know a lot of people are liking Trossard right now. I just missed a super chat. Let me try and get back up to it. So thank you very much to, if I can get it, to Mikey Slices. Thank you very much. Bench Diaz or Maddison? Cheers, Dylan. I would bench Diaz. City could keep a clean sheet, but Chelsea have caused City quite a lot of problems in years gone by, especially with Tuchel. I know this season City did win, but I think Maddison, I'd target that fixture. I'd go for the attacker and go for Maddison. So thank you very much, mate, for the super chat. Much appreciated. Yeah, Ronaldo, Dennis, captain Ronaldo. Has to be Ronaldo, especially with the doubts about Watford versus Burnley. Let's see what most of you are saying. Most of you are still going for Mount. That's quite surprising. Thoughts on Lucas Moura? It looks like Arsenal versus Spurs is going to be postponed, mate. Arsenal just submitted a request, so I would probably avoid Lucas right now. Start Kepa or De Gea? That is tough. I think Kepa might be more likely to keep a clean sheet, but he does face City. De Gea has better fixtures. He's probably got a higher ceiling. I'd probably go for De Gea, but not that convinced by any of these, to be fair. I'm going to try finalise these plans quickly. Captain Bruno Fernandes or King? I'd probably go for Bruno, but not much in it. Captain Bowen or Kane or Cucurella? Normally I'd say Kane, but I'm not sure if the game goes ahead now. Maybe go for Bowen. Thoughts on bringing in Foden? That's something I look at mainly for Game Week 23 rather than right now. Thank you very much for the super chat, Wardy. Much appreciated. Same to everyone else who did that. And also all the channel members. You can become a channel member. There's a join button, and also there's a link in the description below. And you can join the Discord server as well. Best captain Ronaldo? Yep. Once again, I don't want to repeat myself too much. For me, Ronaldo's the best captaincy option in general. I'd go for Ronaldo as the captain. This is this is crazy, isn't it? What do you think about McAllister? Nice option for Gameweek 22. I'm not that convinced by him, beyond this week, to be fair. Son out for Jota. Yeah, I think that's great, mate. If you don't have Jota or Bowen, I'd go for them. Will Son play this game week? No, he won't, Carty. He's probably going to miss out for the rest of the month until the next international break. Yeah, 50 minutes to go. That's why I want to really hurry up with this set of transfers. But I'm just stuck on that midfielder. But I think I'm just going to go for it. You know what? I'm actually going to message someone in my family who they need to sort out their teams. Yeah. Yeah, 40 minutes to go. Thank you, Jay, for the countdown. I don't even need a countdown on the stream, do I? But yeah. So, should I bench my Arsenal players? Probably. Yeah, I probably would. Let me just try to help someone quickly. And get who? And get Trossard, maybe? Yeah, okay, you know what? This is crazy. Yeah, Sao Antonio. All right, sorry, I was giving advice to someone. Are you free hitting? No, I'm not. I'm not free hitting. It's just for people who are asking for the free hit. I mean, it's not technically complete. You can go for any defender, really. I'd go for something like this. You can go for Trossard as well in midfield, who's quite promising. Maybe for Gray instead, and you can play 5 in midfield and play 2 up front. So let's make an alteration here. Let's put Trossard in for Gray. And let's play 3-5-2 if you want. If you're not sure about Watford having a double, which to be fair, I don't think most people are quite sure about that. I think that looks pretty good actually. I'm playing the free hit. I'm joking. That'd be crazy if I did that. Please help. Livramento out, Cody in, roll transfer, or get Son out. If I get Son out, who? I think Cody in for Livramento is a good long-term transfer, but you could always roll it. If you have a starting 11, then you could always just keep things as they are, have 2 free transfers, bring in some Villa or other double game week players for next week. But yeah, more postponements, exactly. It's just absolutely crazy. At least we got the news before the deadline. That's what I will say. That is quite nice. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to check Twitter quickly to give you any other information I can, but I just don't see anything. Yeah. All right, so I think the time has come to make a decision, and I still am indecisive about this. Yeah, exactly, Lager. Yeah, exactly. McAllister or Bowen all day long. Despite the double, go for Bowen. I'm locked in for a -4. That's good. I recommend to anyone, make your transfers now. The site could crash, honestly. Will Watford keep their games? They should keep one of them at least, but I don't know if they're keeping both. The Burnley game looks very, very doubtful. Is Ronaldo a doubt? A slight doubt, but Ranić seemed quite positive. I think he'll start both. Trossard or McAllister? I prefer Trossard. Soufal Duffy to start. I mean, I'm not too sure about that. Duffy started in the FA Cup, but he just doesn't do it in the Premier League. It's a tough one. But the problem with Duffy, he could come off the bench for both games and get you 1-pointers. More postponements. Which ones? I already talked about it, mate. Burnley versus Leicester. And in turn, that makes Burnley versus Watford another doubt. And Arsenal versus Spurs, that's another doubt. And Arsenal just requested the game to be postponed. Best Son replacement. Once again, Bruno Fernandes, you're looking at C midfielder, Coutinho, Rafinha. For me, Bowen and Jota are the best ones if you don't have them. Can you show us the transfer plans? Yeah, I mean, that's what I probably need to be doing anyway. So let's get back to it. So yeah, Ronaldo in for Antonio is a possibility. I could also get in Cucurella for James and possibly an 8.9 million or under midfielder. I might even get Trossard. I mean, who knows at this point? You know what? I might just do anything. I just close my eyes and pick someone and go for it. But yeah, it's not looking too good. Will Bruno play? Yeah, I believe so, Wei Seng. Yeah, once again, just to make it clear, the Burnley versus Leicester game is the one that's postponed. Arsenal versus Spurs could be postponed, and it probably will be. And Burnley versus Watford could also be postponed, just to make it clear. Dylan, I did Mount. Yeah, I mean, I like Mount. The problem is the blanks afterwards, but to be honest, who knows at this point? I could just get Mount in this week for a hit, take him out next week for a hit for Rafinha, and vice versa. Dennis is better than King. Why are some people captaining De Gea? Because they don't have Ronaldo, and also the other players they have might not have a double in the end, so that's why. Captain Dennis, Jota, Mount. I'd still go for Dennis just in case. Who's your captain? It's Dennis as things stand, but if I get in Ronaldo, probably not. You know what? I think it's going to be time to get in either Trossard or Mount. So, yeah, I think that's what I'm going to go for in the end. But this is just absolutely crazy. I'm going crazy and captaining Bowen again. Might be the best decision, mate. I don't think it's too bad. Saka or Gray? I'd say Gray. Also, I don't think Arsenal will have a game in the end, so I'd probably go for that. Free hit Moura, Trossard or Jorginho? I'd go for Trossard, mate. Trossard for sure. Yeah. Will Foster play? I believe so, but that's something else that, we just don't know yet, but I think he will. Is Son to De Bruyne a decent move? Yes, it is a decent move. Just bear in mind there's no double game week here, but great fixtures long term. There's also Sterling. Consider him as well. One in and then one out. Yeah, it's not ideal though. I like to have transfers for the long term, but right now, I mean, do we even have a long term as things stand? Probably not. Dawson or Region? Did I say Dawson? Dawson. Normally I'd say Region, mate, but he probably won't have a double. I'd still go for Region, I guess. Yeah, there will be a UCL fantasy video coming soon. Rafinha or Trossard? I think long term possibly Rafinha, especially if he has a double in 23, but yeah, for this week you'd probably go for Trossard. Foster, any update? He's back and available. Yep. And why does it say -8 points? Because basically I'm making free transfers. I only have one free transfer available. I'd be bringing in Cucurella for Reece James, Ronaldo for Antonio, and Trossard or Mount in for Salah. Oh my god, that's crazy when I say it like that, doesn't it? And also it makes it more difficult to bring Salah back in. That's the main problem I have with this, but might be what I need. If not, maybe just get Bruno in for Salah and then take him out again. But yeah. Trossard versus Mount versus Moore is a real headache. I think, look, if Mount didn't have blanks, it's Mount for sure. He's the easy winner. But because he does have 3 blanks, you possibly would go for Trossard there. 8 minutes left, bud. Exactly. That's why I'm going to be finalising my transfer soon. Greetings, everyone from Florida. Greetings to you as well, John. Hopefully you're having a great time and hopefully you're all good. Gay or Watkins? I'd probably go for Watkins. Foster or Edison in goal? I'd probably go for Foster because of the double, but will Watford have a double? Yeah. Bruno or Dennis captain? I'd probably go for Dennis, but it's really tough between them, especially if Dennis doesn't have a double in the end. I'm checking Twitter as well right now just to see if there's anything that we get. Thank you to everyone as well. Triple captain Ronaldo. Okay, I don't know if I'd triple captain, but, why not? Why not get him in at least and captain him? Yeah, no, I definitely don't want to go in for Ronaldo. -4 for Cucurella. I think it's worth it, George. Yeah, I think it's worth it. Bench Diaz or Lamptey? I would bench Diaz and start Lamptey. I'm captaining Malponer's home double just to have some fun. Fair enough, John. Hopefully it turns out well for you. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good, to be fair. Make a transfer, Dylan? Yes, I will. I think I'm just going to go for this. Agree. Trossard is a trap. I mean, I prefer Mount, but the problem is just, he is facing City and the blanks after. It really puts me off. Yeah. But I think I'm just going to go for Trossard anyway. I just don't have any other options. It would be Maddison, but he doesn't have a double. Mason Mount, once again, I already talked about that. And yeah, all the others. I mean, Rafinha and also Coutinho, they could be quite tempting. Yeah, I mean, why not? But yeah, that's what we're going for. Sterling or Bruno long term? Probably Sterling right now. I'd have to say Sterling. Start 2 out of Tony, Martinelli and Cody. I would bench Martinelli, mate. And also, I don't see him having a fixture right now, Aiden. So, yeah, I'd just go start the other 2. Definitely. Moura or Jorginho? I'd still go for Moura. City will concede? Probably. Bench Cancelo or Gordon? I'd probably bench Gordon, if that makes sense. Aiden, I answered your question, mate. I'd bench Martinelli. Start Cancelo or Region? I would start maybe Region just in case, but it's really tough there. Buy Coutinho now? I'm looking more so next week, if I'm being honest. Yeah. Damn, this is going to be a hole that is going to be very hard to get out of, to be honest, getting Trossard. Yes, Bernardo Silva versus Lookman. I would say Bernardo Silva. Do you think Coutinho's a FPL-based asset? I mean, that's the thing. We just don't know yet. We haven't seen him back in the Premier League yet, but I think he could do all right. It's too early to tell. I want to see him play first before giving a concrete answer to that. But yeah, this is an absolute mess, isn't it? It's time to press the button. Yes, it is time. Who's your captain? If I bring in Ronaldo, it will be him. Otherwise, it's Dennis. 4 minutes until lock-in. You know what? I'm done. Yeah, time is up. Exactly, I'm done. I'm not going to dilly-dally around. Who knows at this point? Will Brighton even have a double game week? I mean, probably. But yeah, I'm probably just going to take this -8 and do this. Yeah, the only thing I hate about this is just not being able to get Salah back in. So I've done it. There you go. Whatever. At this point, I don't even care. Don't even care. So Ronaldo captain. Let's just make that sure. Vice captain will be Dennis, I guess. And yeah, now we're going to bring in Trossard and Cucurella in. I'm probably going to have to bench, you know, this is the thing now, obviously, but probably have to bench Cancelo and Foden, for example, but whatever. There we go. And Cucurella will come in, and I'd probably play him over Cancelo as well, yeah. And there we go. So we'll put... Yeah, we'll just have that. At least we've got some squad depth now, but I'm not happy with this team in terms of not having Salah in the long term, but I'll just find a way to bring him back in, and there'll probably be some more hits. I haven't really taken too many hits this season, but here you go. There you go. -8 on stream. And there you go. Let me know what you think. Thank you, John, for becoming a member for 3 months. Good luck, you bangers. We need it. Yeah, we definitely do. Click it. Yes, it's all done. It's all done. Take a -4. Yeah, I mean, I was considering it, but I've just ended up taking a -8. The City players can still do very well, but I'm just opting for the double game weekers. Captain Bruno De Gea, I'd go for Bruno. I know that this sounds insane, but I have made my transfers and I have 9 million in the bank. Yeah. I mean, it sounds insane, but it's, it's logical based on what's happening recently. Trossard also gets a blanking game at 24. Never be consistent and good enough to hold. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, he's probably just going to be a game at 22 purchase, if anything. Yeah, I already made my transfers. So yeah, it's all done. So we'll wait and see. Let me just get the... yeah, well, 37% of you actually went with Trossard in the end. I didn't even see the poll. Mount was winning before I ended up making my transfers. Start Gallagher or Maddison? I would go for Maddison. Are you satisfied with Game Week 21 points? Fairly satisfied. It wasn't amazing, but it wasn't too bad in the end. Arnold or Davis? I'd just go for Arnold. I'm loving my team if Foden starts and Dennis does indeed have a double. Yeah, exactly. And same here. If there's no further postponements, I actually like my team quite a lot. And I've got Cancelo and Foden on the bench. I mean, who does that? Who actually does that? And maybe I should start one of them instead of Gray. Who knows? You tell me. You tell me if I made a mistake. I probably have, but yeah. Cancelo. I'd be tempted to start Cancelo over Gray, but you know what? I mean, I don't know. I don't even know at this point. You sure captaining Dennis over Fernandes? I still don't know. I'm not exactly sure, mate. Especially if they don't have a double anymore, which is possible. Yeah, 1 minute left. Should not have panicked, Dylan. CR7 will blank, mate. Well, he might blank, but he's got 2 games to, do well. And yeah. Who knows? I mean, if I didn't bring in Ronaldo, I probably would be, I wouldn't say nervous, but I wouldn't watch the United game. I'll just see what happens from the sidelines. I think I'm just going to go for Cancelo, by the way, instead of Gray. Yeah, I'm just going to do that. I know it sounds ridiculous to make even further changes, but there you go. Gray is facing Norwich, but there you go. It'll probably backfire. Here we go. 4-3-3, it's done. Ronaldo captain, Dennis Vice. We'll see what happens. And we've got a few blanks in 24 now with Trossard and Cucurella. Then we've also got Ronaldo. Will I keep him long term? I see Foden scoring. Yeah, it would be typical, wouldn't it? Is anyone sure this week? Exactly. I'll be honest, I'm not sure. I haven't been sure all week. I'm definitely not sure now. Free hit, Trossard or Mora? I'd go for Trossard. I don't expect the Arsenal game to go ahead. It's locked. Yes, it is. And Foden's second sub, it will come back to bite me. I remember Foden did very well at Stamford Bridge last season. So yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised if I end up making the wrong decision there. But there you go. I'd rather have the depth just in case. Yeah, time is up. I do like Foden long term. That's why I ended up keeping him. Trossard, mate. Uze. Trossard. I would have kept Gray in, to be honest. Yeah, maybe. But there we go. Don't be too hard on yourself if you make mistakes. This week's just chances. Yeah, to be honest, at this point, I've just thought, whatever I do, a lot of things are outside of our control. So, I definitely won't be beating myself up about it. If it goes right, if it goes wrong, whatever. So I'll just see what happens, and there we go. I'm a bit concerned about the plans to bring in Salah, because I was quite happy to keep Salah, just bench him, go for other players. But there you go. I've taken the -8, and we'll see what happens from it. Let's see if we've seen anything else on Twitter. But yeah, some people have said I probably could have just kept Cucurella, or not Cucurella, avoided getting him in and got rid of, just kept James, and then maybe make some Villa defenders, get them in ahead of Game Week 23. But we'll wait and see. Or if you've done it with 1 second left or something. In terms of the -8, I took it with 3 minutes left for the deadline, and in terms of the last minute sub, Cancelo in for Gray, that was literally last minute. So yeah, it's all done. Got trigger happy and free hit. Fair enough. Hopefully it turns out right for you, mate. Went rogue, changed Bowen for Maddison, backing Leeds. Wow, fair enough. I mean, I think in terms of getting rid of Bowen for Maddison, I'm not too sure about that, but for the captaincy, fair enough. But still, we'll wait and see. I mean, to be honest, everything that I've said could literally be absolutely futile in a day's time. Why are people captaining De Gea? Like I said, Mohamed, it's because they don't have Ronaldo, and people like Dennis might not have a double, Kane might not have a double. That's why. This week was tricky. We can only put in what we have available weekly. Exactly. I don't like that, Mark, but that's the kind of situation we're in right now. We'll wait and see what happened. But I'm not too confident. CR7 is not playing. I think he will, to be honest. Definitely don't beat yourself about it, Dylan. You have helped a lot of people this week, also, which is a lot of work in itself. Yeah, but the thing is, just in general, the questions people ask and the answers, they're all quite open, and things can change so quickly, and a lot of it's outside of our control. So we just have to do the best we can, but in the end of the day, good decisions can be punished, and you can make a bad decision and actually end up profiting from it. So who knows? Let's just try and enjoy this game week. Could be a fun Friday today. I brought in all these Brighton players. Jesus Christ. I mean, who would have thought I've actually got so much stock in these assets? Let's wait and see what happens. I've never would have thought bringing in Trossard. Keep up the great work, Dylan. Thank you, FPL Devil. And obviously, thank you very much for always tuning in. Do some teams have a double game week in next game week? It's not confirmed yet, but Villa and Leeds could have a double game week, and possibly Leicester. But once again, I would rather wait for confirmation before just speculating, because we've already got so much uncertainty as things stand. Went for Trossard too. If Rafinha doubles next week, who would you get him for? Good question. Probably for Gray or for Trossard. Literally, Trossard is a 1 week punt, really. Jota and Bowen are definitely staying in, and probably Foden. My issue is getting Salah back in, and that would require selling Ronaldo again. I love how this morning I was saying Trossard, you said no, I got him, and you also got him in the end too. Yeah, exactly, and that's why. It's because Maddison was originally going to have a game this week, and a double, should I say. I was going to get Maddison in, so basically I would have made the same transfers, but Maddison instead of Trossard, and now it's in the mud. So it was just a last-minute decision. It was just a gut feeling. I'm not a big fan of Trossard, despite getting him in. Don't have Ronaldo. I wouldn't be too worried about not having him, and I'm saying that, as someone who literally just knee-jerked him in, possibly, but you also might be in a good position where you have Salah, and a lot of people are going to be taking hits to get him back in. So, yeah, looks like you'll be watching Brighton play, or not, honestly. Maybe I'm just going to go AWOL and just enjoy myself. You've done a great job, bud. Thank you, Mark, and thank you very much. He's been quiet. I feel like McAllister's more involved. Yeah, McAllister's definitely been better recently, but if Trossard plays in that false 9 position, could be very intriguing, but who knows. I'm not a big fan of Trossard. I'm just putting that out there. Ended up benching Maddison and playing Foden Gray. Fair enough. I probably would have played Maddison, I guess, but I can see why I did that at the Flying Dutchman. And honestly, a lot of these decisions are 50-50. 95 points for Game Week 21. What a haul. That's really good, yeah. 95 points. That's pretty nice. My squad depth is a bit too much, and getting in Salah will be tough. Been getting back-to-back green arrows, and this week I'll have done something similar to you. Yeah, that is my main concern, bringing in Salah again. So that's why I like, rolling the transfer and being patient, but it's just so difficult to do that right now. I'm happy I managed to save the free hit. Yeah, I'm just going to keep them for later on in the season. I was bringing in Lamptey and Cucurella for Duffy, but I just felt pointless transfer for me, so I got Trossard in instead. Yeah. And either way, all these Brighton players have blanks in 24, so let's just see how this pans out. Let's just have some fun. I think Trossard is a decent option since the Leicester game is postponed. Yeah, I think Maddison would have been the no-brainer, but yeah, it's just how it turns out. Hoping for Trossard masterclass later. That would make me feel a lot better if he does really well. And it will put our minds at ease, I guess, at least for this week. What's your plan to bring in Salah back in? It has to be Ronaldo back out, basically. But I'm just trying to take advantage of these double game weeks. And I think what I would be doing is Ronaldo out for Watkins. I think I'd be looking to bring in Watkins. And the other move would be Salah in for Trossard or for Gray. I think that's what I'd look to do. I also want to get in a Wolves defender or Villa defender for for Livramento. And what else would I do? I think I would be happy with the rest as things stand. But yeah, I've got a lot of squad depth, so it's quite hard to have all these players. Hi, my name is Mary. Welcome, Melanie. Bit weird that you're named Melanie, but you're Mary. But obviously, thank you very much for tuning in. Coutinho buyers are just running the hype train. Obviously, he's just one I want to keep an eye on, but I wouldn't bring him in right now. I just think it's way too early. Good to see the channel growing rapidly. Well done, mate. Thank you, Wei Seng. And yeah, at one point we had so many people here. It's quite hard to keep up, but hopefully we went for as many as possible. I decided to captain Sanchez this week. First time ever captaining a goalkeeper. Still doubting my decision. Mate, people who brought in Ronaldo, they're doubting that. They're doubting captaining him in the first place, captaining Dennis. Everything's a doubt. This is the week that we have. FPL is just absolutely volatile at the moment, and if we're honest, it's just purely luck right now. So just have to hope that you're on the wrong side, on the right side of luck. You definitely don't want to be on the wrong side. Jota, I will definitely not be getting rid of Jota to get Salah back in. At least that's what I think right now. Have trebled up on Watford players, hoping they get the 2 fixtures. Yeah, I think King and Dennis should do well, but yeah, it'd be a big shame if they did that, if they don't have the double. Yeah. Wow, you bench Gray. Yeah, it was last minute, last second for Cancelo. Probably a wrong call. I'm very uncomfortable about benching Foden, but there you go. It's done. I brought in Ronaldo and Trossard for Son and Antonio, and also I started Gray over Watkins. Hope it goes well. Good luck, Dylan. Thank you, Sidinja. Good luck to you as well. And yeah, definitely to everyone. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and take a break. Honestly, take a break. You know, it's not worth the stress. It's not worth the stress. If you haven't already, smash the like button and subscribe if you're new. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, Dylan_RCM, and you can also join the Discord server and the league. They're all open. The links are in the description below. And yeah, by clicking the join button, you can become a channel member. And yeah, obviously it's all much appreciated. Thank you to everyone with the super chats and all the comments today. Is it too early to bring in Coutinho? I think it's too early. Do not make early transfers, honestly. With everything that's happening, I'd rather just wait until the end, even though it is quite stress-inducing in some cases. Lamptey and McAllister Hall incoming. I mean, if that happens to me, I'm just going to log off, if I'm being honest. Great stream, Dylan. Best of luck. Thank you. Awardy, best of luck to you as well. Thank you, Genius Gamer. Good luck. Is Coutinho a great FPL asset? He was at one point in his last season in 2017-18, where he was pretty much averaging a goal and assist, nearly every game. He was looking really good. Thank you, Never Walk Alone Anchor. Good luck all. This game week feels like a kid who lost grip of a helium balloon. Thanks again, Dylan. Great stream. That is a great way of summing up, to be honest. I wouldn't have thought of that, especially with everything that I've been thinking about right now. It's just absolutely mad. This has been a hectic game week. Hopefully it turns out all right. Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. But thank you very much for tuning in. Brought in Fernandes for Salah. Don't know how good it is of a decision. I think it's a good move on paper. I was thinking of it myself, and you're probably in a better position to bring Salah back in. That's what I would say. Is King a good captaincy option? If he has a double, then yes. I'd be a bit less optimistic if he doesn't have the double. Staying until lineup release, I'm probably going to be wrapping up soon, just trying to get through these questions. My future transfers are Livramento to Digne and Smith Rowe to Coutinho, Mount to Salah. That looks pretty good, Mark. That's a good set of transfers. You could always consider Rafinha if he has a double instead, but we'll wait and see. Jota captain. Hopefully he does well. I mean, I wouldn't mind a Jota haul. Coutinho buyers, haven't seen him play for Barcelona. Man makes up boring. Barcelona looks even more boring somehow. Yeah, he had a little stint at Bayern Munich, where he looked pretty decent, but I don't know, he's been so hit and miss for Barcelona and for Brazil even. Dylan, you do a great job keeping up with a bombardment of questions. Good luck to you. Looking forward to Game Week 23 because I flip-flop so many times. I have no idea who's in my team. Thank you very much. And yeah, it was quite hectic today. So have I. I mean, I was talking about possibly avoiding Trossard, and I ended up bringing him in. And I didn't want to be honest, but I wanted to fund that Ronaldo move. Why Cancelo instead of Foden? I don't know, to be honest. I have no idea. It's probably just because I think City-Chelsea could be a 0-0, and also I back Cancelo to possibly get an attacking return. He's been very good in the last few games against Chelsea. Good luck to you as well, Golden Boys. Last minute I benched Reguilon for Cancelo. Fair enough, and it makes sense. The game could be called off. Let's just enjoy it, having all these double gameweek players and taking these late hits. I wouldn't have done it, under normal circumstances. King Captain, hopefully it turns out well for you. Okay, hopefully. Went Shaw, Kane, Antonio to Cucurella, CR7 Dennis. Take away all regretting our decisions already. I don't want to think about it too much, but I probably will be, yeah. Have Salah benched, brought in DCL for games to be rescheduled mainly and good run. Couldn't get Ronaldo. 0.1 Shaw without doing a -8. Kane likely only one game and poor fixtures. Yeah, I can see why I didn't do it in the end, Cyril. And to be honest, I could have avoided a -8 and just taken a -4. But I also have doubts about City. They have more COVID cases. Who's got COVID? Is it Cancelo? Who knows? So that's why I ended up just going for the squad depth. But yeah, I'm in a bit of a poor situation in a few weeks' time. And as for you, I can see why you did that, and that makes sense. And yeah, with DCL, you've been very unlucky with that, with the postponements, with the missed penalty. But yeah, he's still a good transfer, and I think he could do well. Thanks, Dylan. Have a good one. Hope to catch the next one. Thank you, the Flying Dutchman. And good luck to you as well. Is Musa Sissoko a bargain midfielder? He's a nice, maybe budget midfielder to have on your bench, but he's not someone you really want to have starting, to be honest. Captain De Gea in the end of a king didn't feel safe. Yeah, I can agree about that, and I can completely understand everyone who captained De Gea this week. So hopefully De Gea gets some returns. Yep, I definitely wouldn't mind that, to be honest, and he was very close to doing it against Wolves. That's a good team. Mustafa. Yeah, that's pretty good. Just in a few weeks' time, do Fernandes to Salah, and if you need money, you can look to maybe downgrade someone else. I'm not sure exactly who. But yeah, Fernandes to Salah looks pretty good. Lanzini is an interesting choice. I prefer Bowen, but that's still fair enough. And then yeah, look to get rid of Alonso in a few weeks' time, especially before Game Week 24. Bench Cancelo for Gray, and your team isn't making me feel any better about it. Honestly, I mean, look, some people might look at my team and think, wow, it looks pretty well stacked for this week, but I took a -8, and it's going to be hard for me to get Salah back in. So everyone, no team is looking great at the moment. I think everyone has their pros and cons, and yeah, everyone's going to look maybe good right now, but in a few weeks' time, it could be very poor. So yeah, definitely don't feel bad about it. You might end up actually outscoring me anyway. Bench Cancelo for Gray. Yeah, I mean, I actually had him on the bench originally, but I just brought in Cancelo last second. I rolled my transfer this week, but I'm worried I made a mistake. I have 11 playing though. Honestly, it's just a week where you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. So honestly, I just see how it all pans out. And if you have 2 free transfers next week, which you will have 2 free transfers, you're in a good position to attack the doubles in Game Week 23. And also, you're also in a good position to get Salah back in 24, 25. Coutinho was back up for Müller at Bayern, but not very impressive. Flick used Müller extensively. Yeah, and Müller is so consistent for Bayern and Germany anyway. Obviously, he is retired from Germany anyway, but yeah, Coutinho, I don't know. It's just, with Bayern, his stats were pretty good, but he didn't get that many minutes, so it doesn't really surprise you too much that the stats were quite impressive. But yeah, we'll wait and see with Coutinho. He might just be a flash in the pan. I did a last minute bench boost. Good luck to you evolving every day. I was originally considering that from -8 in the end. No hits, hits, but no free hit, no chips, nothing. Watford Burnley rumours to be postponed. Yep. Yeah, because Burnley, they don't have enough players to play Leicester, and I think only 3 days later they're supposed to play Watford, so that game is also in doubt. So yeah, it makes sense. Have the English Cup started yet in FPL? The English Cup, so like the Nation Cup, that's a good question. Honestly, I'm not really looking at the cups and stuff, but I think it starts, when is it? Game Week 27, isn't it? Yeah, I just went off the game, I remember that, but anyway, yeah. I think it's 27 or 29, but yeah, we'll wait and see. Anyway, we're gonna look back. This is how my team was before. Let's recap on how my team was looking before my -8. I would have captained Dennis. I would have started Foden and Cancelo and Gray, so all of them would have been in the starting 11. I'm going to try wrap up through the last few questions before going off. Thank you, Mustafa, much appreciated. Thoughts on Liverpool-Arsenal game? Arsenal did very well to defend with 10 men. But at the same time, Liverpool just lacked that cutting edge without Salah and Mane. And I'm still quite nervous about the second leg. I'm going to that game, and yeah, it would be typical Arsenal to just bottle it, doing so well to keep Liverpool out with 10 men at Anfield to then just bottle it with individual mistakes in the second leg at the Emirates. I have James and White on my bench. Really hope Reguilon plays or I'll be down to 10 men. Yeah. But then again, you could still do well with 10 men, but it's just not ideal this week. It's just absolutely poor. In a way, I wish it never existed, but here we go. I did Fernandes rather than Ronaldo, as I hope if Ronaldo scored, Bruno gets an assist, and there's also a 1 point difference. Also, that 1 point could be a clean sheet. Yeah, also the extra point for a clean sheet and also the goal scored. Who knows at this point? But with Bruno Fernandes, if I saw more from him, I would have actually been more inclined to go for him. But this season, I'm just not really a big fan. Is Foden out? And I think he should be available. But City have more cases. Yeah, exactly, FPL Devil. Premier League Board will make a decision tomorrow on Arsenal's application. Yeah, and then again, who knows? What if they turn down Arsenal's application? It wouldn't be the most surprising decision in the world. It started for Sweden now, so it might be the same for all nations. Oh yeah, so it would probably be now. Honestly, I haven't been keeping up with the double gameweeks, with the cups and stuff. You think Vlahovic will join Arsenal? Not too sure about that, to be honest, but according to reports, he's not that keen, and if he waits until the summer, he can join a club that is guaranteed to be in the Champions League, and probably even better clubs. Those that miss out on Haaland, they could end up going for Vlahovic. No, it's not confirmed, Hamza, but it's a possibility. Arsenal have already requested for the game to be postponed, so that is official. Great stream as always, Dylan, and have a good fun. Have a great weekend, everyone. Best wishes from the west of Ireland. Ciao for now, Dylan. Thank you, Cyril. Good luck to you. All the very best of luck. Enjoy yourself, and just don't let the stress get to you. Only have 3 players with double game week thoughts. Honestly, Hamza, it's not that bad. As long as you get 11 players out with decent fixtures, I think you're fine. Took an unnecessary -4 watching your stream, got CR7 Mount and Marcel for Watkins, Salah and Livramento respectively. Don't know why I get so trigger happy. I mean, I got trigger happy as well. I took a -8. It's not ideal, but it might end up paying off. You're getting double game week players and they look pretty well this week. Captain Cavani, good luck to you, Jay Martin. That is a first that I've seen this week. Is Muller not playing World Cup this year? I mean, didn't he retire? I think he got called back up, actually. If I'm not even keeping up with Germany. Actually, he did get called back up, didn't he? Yeah, he did. With Hansi Flick, but before that he was basically never called up for Germany again. No, I think he should be playing, to be honest. Yeah. Indeed, I took a big pun with Bruno. Everything is a pun nowadays. Even Ronaldo. What if he misses out the first game and Ranić wasn't right? When would you watch a game in the stadium again? It's literally the next week on Thursday. I'm watching that one against Liverpool. I watched Arsenal versus Leeds in the Carabao Cup. I'm watching this one now, the second leg. What do you think of Djokovic and COVID still not in tennis for next week? It looks like he's not going to play. I'm not a huge fan of Djokovic, to be honest. I'm more of a Federer guy, but I think it's quite... I mean, look, it is the rules of the country. I just don't agree with them, if I'm being honest. But obviously, the rules are put in place. The laws are... I think Djokovic should still, be allowed to play. And athletes are kept in their own bubble anyway, so... the risk of spreading the disease isn't that big, but, everyone has their own opinion about it. I think it is wrong. I think Djokovic should be allowed to play, and this has come from someone who's not a big fan of him. Benched Sanchez, Antonio Maddison, and Ben White. Your review? I mean, Antonio's a doubt, so I can see why he did that, and you must have one hell of an 11, to bench those players, in my opinion, because Antonio Maddison and Sanchez are good choices this week. Vlahovic versus Haaland versus Mbappe for the next generation. Too early to tell with Vlahovic, and I haven't seen him enough compared to the other two. I think Haaland's the best goal scorer of the lot, but Mbappe might be maybe the most complete because he's also a great dribbler. He's so quick, and that is a real asset to his game. And when Mbappe is not so greedy, he is so threatening because he also has the ability to pick a pass out and create space for others with his pace and trickery. So right now, I'd say Mbappe's probably the best of the lot, but Haaland's very, very good. It's not much in it between them two. Thoughts on Bielsa as an Argentine? I mean, no matter what you think of him, he's a very, very impactful coach. He's influenced a wide generation of Argentinian coaches like Mauricio Pochettino, Jorge Sampaoli, and a few others. So his influence is understated and undeniable. He also made a really big impact on Chilean football, and he is probably one of the main reasons why they had such a good squad from 2014 onwards. But Yeah, he's not really, let's say, a winning coach. He hasn't won much in his career, but in terms of his legacy, it will always be, he definitely has a legacy in football, no doubt about it. But yeah, and he did win a gold medal with Argentina, but also lost the Copa America final. What I don't like about Bielsa, though, is that he basically set records for Argentina in the World Cup qualifiers in 2002, which is when Brazil ended up winning the World Cup. But he got knocked out in the actual group stages, a group with England, Nigeria, and Sweden. And that team should have gone possibly even to the semi-finals or beyond. And it was the worst performance by Argentina in the World Cup. Mbappe's stats in 2022, and the season has been insane. Bundesliga, and to be honest, Mbappe's stats in general are just insane since he's made his debut. But the same goes for Haaland. He's basically got a goal a game for Dortmund, for Salzburg. His record was insane. Even for Norway, it's relatively good. So yeah, their records are great, but I still don't think they're as good as Messi or Ronaldo for sure. But yeah, I got Mora, Dennis, Sterling, and Captain Dennis. Thank you for the help. I know where to go before the deadline now. I did my transfers in the end. 2 minutes were left. You helped me a lot. Thank you. Thank you, Abir. It was very hectic. I want to settle my team first and then get to your questions. I don't want that in the back of my mind. But with the current climate, it's so difficult to make transfers even earlier because news can come out at any point. So it's the right thing to leave transfers up till pretty late. But you have to find that perfect window. I could have actually made the transfers too late and left them, and then the site would have crashed, and there you go. My team's in the mud. But yeah, I'm glad to have helped, and hopefully you enjoyed the stream. That's the most important thing. But honestly, a lot of this is now down to luck, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens there. We have to take each week one game at a time. But thank you to everyone who's been tuning in. It's much appreciated. We're going to wrap up now. And if you haven't already, smash the like button and subscribe if you're new around here. We had a lot of viewers today. Good luck with Game Week 22. I think we all need it. And we all need a break. That's what I think we need. And also you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, Dylan_RCM. You can also join the Discord server and all of that good stuff. All of the links are in the description below. And also become a channel member. So thank you to all the super chats, everyone who sent in the super chats, all the channel members, everyone who tuned in today. And smash the like button and subscribe if you're new. All of that is much appreciated. Good luck with Game Week 22. Enjoy it. All that good stuff. If you have any questions or comments that you want me to answer, leave them in the comment section down below. And yeah, stay blessed. Enjoy the football. And I'll see you next time.